God and Country Station.
It's a mighty fancy automobile.
Oh, she's a real road king, all right.
0 to 60 in 7.5.
She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40.
390 horsepower.
500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush. Lovely Saturday, actually.
Yeah, very beautiful today compared to what we had going on yesterday. So, yeah, it's very nice. So, Kurt Anderson is my guest today. You can hear him talking, and I was commenting on Kurt's T-shirt today. He did the Ironman in Florida, and then just recently did the one up here in the Boulder area. So, man, Kurt's a tougher guy than me. Healthier guy and tougher guy, because those Ironmans are tough. So doing that, it takes a lot. So anyways, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. And by the way, Kurt is our resident European expert. In fact, I send Kurt, virtually anybody that calls in and or emails me, before, during, after the show, he's the guy that I'm sending you to. So those of you out there that are listening that I've done that in the past, Kurt's the guy that I've been sending you to, and he's been a member of our Colorado Select group now for several years and is our Euro expert. So Kurt, tell the guys, first of all, phone number 303-477-5600, but tell them where your shop is and some of the stuff that you do specialize in, Kurt.
Yeah, I'm Kurt. We're in Golden, 16289 West Colfax. We do Volvo, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz. We'll take other things too, but that's what we're really set up to do and have the most experience in.
And Kurt also does all diesel emissions, which those are not run by Air Care Colorado. We're going to talk with Kurt being here today. That's one of the topics I've actually got, and we got into this a little bit last week, is what got me going on it for this particular week's topics. Is just emissions, testing, some of the ratings that shops get from Air Care Colorado. We're going to talk about those things. But you do diesel emissions testing, which is done differently than what Air Care Colorado does.
Yeah, it's a completely different program.
And it's the diesel side of the fence. And hey, Mike, can you make sure that real quick, little housekeeping, make sure Kurt's mic's up enough. I'm not hearing him as well as I thought I should be. Just make sure that we're doing everything okay. All right, let's try that. So the diesel side of the fence is totally separate from Air Care Colorado. So if you're a diesel owner and you know this, now on the same token, if you just bought a diesel vehicle, you've been used to driving a gas vehicle, your diesel emissions program will be done totally different than what you've been doing in the past, right, Kurt?
Well, there's some similarities. New diesel vehicles are exempt for 4 years, and then they go every other year. So that's real similar to the gas.
That's similar.
Right.
So where you go to get
program.
tested.
Don't look at Air Care Colorado for diesel.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it's a totally different deal. You've got to find an authorized diesel emissions test center. And Kurt, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. Why didn't Air Care Colorado just take that on initially? Why the separation? Do they just not have the ability in their facilities to do the diesel side of the fence, or what?
I think that's probably a lot of it. They chose to decentralize the program. The equipment's a lot different. The Air Care Colorado gas emission testing centers, the drive cycle on an IM240 for gas, you may hit, 50, 60 rear wheel horsepower, whereas on the diesel side of things, it's pretty much a full throttle run. So, we may be hitting 350 rear wheel horsepower.
Got it.
There's no way that the Air Care Colorado dynos can handle that. They're just not set up to do it. So that's different. Testing equipment's different. Everything's a different.
And of course I knew that, but not everybody out there listening knows that. So yes, if you're a diesel owner and you just acquired a diesel, your emissions testing will be a lot different. We'll talk more about that as we get through the day today. But again, call us. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Anything at all you want to talk about, we'd love to hear from you. And I know it's a nice, beautiful day, and you're going to all be out doing stuff, and there's football games going on today, and we've got football going on tomorrow, and college football tonight. Still call us. We'd love to hear from you, help you out with whatever it is you've got going on, 303-477-5600. And this is a really Chamber of Commerce sort of day, as beautiful as it is outside. It's really, I left the house this morning, Kurt, with long sleeves and got down here, and I'm thinking, man, I could have worn shorts and a T-shirt. It's really not all that bad out right now. It's pretty nice. So anyways, we'd love to hear from you, 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. Question of the day. When was the first speeding ticket issued? What year? And if you can add to that, once somebody gets that answer, I want to hear, what's the worst speeding ticket you ever received? Not traffic ticket, but speeding ticket. And I know we did this once before in the past, and we had some really, really fantastic stories and answers that went along with it. So I'd love to hear from you. What's your worst speeding ticket ever received? And if you know when the first speeding ticket was issued, I'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Want to introduce to also a couple of the sponsors we've got. We talk about them all the time, but I'll get this out of the way while Larry's screening a couple of calls. One is, if you're listening to us on YouTube, thank you. You can always, or watching us on YouTube, I should say, you can do that now. You can watch us, look at all of our car reviews, all the rest of the things we have going on. You can actually look at us right now. You can go to drive-radio.com. Just go right to the home page. Click on the little link that's right down in the middle of the page, and you'll be able to watch us. You can also go to our channel. So if you go to YouTube, just type in Drive Radio, all one word, and you'll see our channel. And please subscribe to our channel if you can. That helps us. It helps us with our videos and all the rest of the things we have going on. We would appreciate that if you subscribe. It'll also tell you when we put something new up. You'll get a little notification that, hey, these guys have put a new video up. I've got a couple that I'll put up over the weekend of some car reviews we just recently did. But anyways, yeah, we'd love to have you do that if you would. Also, check out our website, ColoradoSelect.com. That's where all of the listings are for all of our member shops that help support this show. And I say it often, but I'll continue to say it. If you like the show, you like what we do every single week, please use our facilities. They're all listed, ColoradoSelect.com. You can go there, find a location near you. We've got them up and down the Front Range from Parker all the way to Fort Collins. And those guys are there to help you, and they're all very honest, solid guys. They would not be a part of our group if we had not vetted them out and checked them out. And I should say not just guys, it's guys and gals, plural. We have both in the group, so it's both sides of the fence. But yeah, if you like what you hear, please, by all means, use them. But hey, let's go right to the phones. We've got lines lit up. As soon as somebody drops off, call us and we'll get you squeezed right in, 303-477-5600. Joe in Aurora, what's going on this beautiful Saturday morning? Hello, Joe.
Hello.
There we go. What's going on today?
Hey, I got a 2013 Chevy Malibu 4-cylinder, not turbocharged. Owner's manual calls for a 520 weight oil, partially synthetic. Would it hurt the engine if I went to a full synthetic, same weight, 520?
And sorry, I was doing some housekeeping. Kurt, you're going to have to answer that one.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
And make sure I caught that. It's a 2013 Malibu?
Yes.
Okay. And four-cylinder?
Non-turbocharged.
Non-turbo. Got it.
And he's wondering if 5W20 is the recommended oil, semi-synthetic, if you can go to a full synthetic.
Sure.
Yeah, no.
Definitely.
Not a problem.
And Kurt has as much experience with that as anybody, because being on the Euro side, the Europeans have been using synthetic oil for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so Kurt can attest to that. And I had even some emails this week, Joe, just kind of along these lines. I had one in particular that said, I've been using standard oil for all these years. My technician tells me I can't switch to synthetic. Not true. You can.
Yeah,
not a problem.
Yeah, we still get those questions about full synthetic oil taking out seals and starting leaks and all that kind of thing. And no, I don't know. That
old.
May have happened way before my time.
Yeah, and even before mine too, I think. And Kurt and I both are, by the way, older, so we've been around for a long time working on cars, and I don't know that I've ever seen. Now, and let's say this. And this is our opinion of that, Joe. If there was going to be a problem, you'd have it with or without synthetic oil.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Could I ask a second question?
Yeah, go right ahead. Sure.
Last week I was listening, but I was at work and had to turn off the radio.
No problem.
There was a question, an 06 Jeep Wrangler, the straight 6-cylinder.
Yes.
you recommended using the additive ZDDP.
Well, you can do those straight sixes have a flat tappet camshaft, which means it's a long explanation, hard to explain on the radio, but basically it's the old style of lifter and camshaft like we had in the old Chevy 350s, Ford small blocks, big blocks, etc. It was around for a number of years. The zinc in the oil helped the wear of the camshaft and the lifter, and when that went away, in the later model oils or later designed oils, we've recommended now for those older engines, and especially that six-cylinder in specific, which I used to work on a ton, either using that additive, but you only need about a half a bottle per oil change, or just use the 1540 weight diesel oil, which already has some zinc in it, and it works fine doing it that way.
Oh, 1540 diesel.
Just use a 1540 diesel in that. And now everybody else out there listening, there's only a few exceptions to running diesel oil in a gasoline engine, and this is one of them. We're not talking about this for anything else, just this specific question Joe has.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, if you've got a 6-cylinder 4-liter 4.2-liter Jeep, yes, you can run 1540 weight oil in it and it'll be fine.
Normally I change oil and filter every 3,000. If I switch to diesel oil, could that be extended a little
I think
bit?
on that particular vehicle, I'd still run 3,000 to 4,000 miles on an oil change, just knowing the engine and how it works, etc. And I did a lot of work on those for years and years and years. Grew up working on those basically, and I would not go much further than 3,000 or 4,000 on that particular engine.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you were using the synthetic oil? Would you still recommend 3,000 to 4,000 miles?
You could go a little longer than that, and you could run a diesel synthetic. It would still have a little bit of that zinc in it. If you wanted to go that route, you could, yes. Or you could run a full synthetic oil and put some ZDDP additive in it if you wanted to do it that way also.
Okay.
It's kind of your call on how you want to do that. But yes, with a full synthetic, you can go a little bit further on oil changes, yes.
Okay. And you guys had a Napa product for the ZDDP. Do you remember that? They gave the caller a number.
I do not know if Napa stores themselves are still carrying that. Some of the Colorado Select shops carry that additive, but you'll have to call around and check that out. I don't think Napa as a corporate, the corporate stores I know never got into selling that. Some of the local independently owned stores did. You'll have to call around and check that out because I don't know. We don't recommend it that much anymore because most of the guys can switch over to the 1540 diesel oil and be just fine. So we've not been pushing the ZDDP like we were at one time.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joe. Great phone call, by the way. Appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day. And if you're working, I know you got to turn it off sometimes when you're working. I get that, but continue to listen to us. We appreciate it. One line open, 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. And Tom is up next. Tom, welcome. What's going on today?
Hi, guys.
How you
Hey,
doing, Tom?
I'm going to rebuild an engine, a 440 to be exact.
Okay.
And I checked the bore, and the bore is it's still almost the stock 320 thousandths. 4 inches, 320 thousandths.
Okay, and how did you check? How did you check that?
Dial bore gauge.
Okay, and you check it, I assume, all the way around, top and bottom, so you know they're not tapered.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Exhaustive checking. Anyway, so the best I can do is a thousandths over. That's the biggest it'll get, and they're extremely straight. Everything looks remarkably well.
Good.
Which leads me to my question. On the 1973s and later 440s, the pistons sit in the hole about 80 thousandths.
Okay.
So I'm going to buy a piston that's going to be about 15 thousandths in the hole.
Okay.
And I want to save some money by getting the stock diameter piston.
Got it.
And not go 30 over and a half.
Yeah, you don't want to go bore it, and you don't want to bore it and do all of that, is what you're saying.
Yeah, $220 with home plates.
Okay.
And and that's not bad, but this is going to be a big project, so I want to save that.
Okay.
So the pistons I'm getting are forged, not hyper-eutectics, and they call for a 1.5 thousandths clearance at the skirts.
Okay.
So I'm going to end up with after I still have a pretty good crosshatch pattern in the bore as it is, but of course you have to knock it down.
You're gonna have to hone it no matter what, and you'll probably wear another thousandths off pretty easily by honing it.
That's what I was thinking. I'd be lucky if it was a thousandths, and I would stop at 2.
Okay.
So mathematically, technically, I'm from going from 1.5 with a forged piston, I would probably be at best 3,000 clearance.
Okay.
Now, I personally, through experience, don't see that as a problem, but these newer pistons have got such strange, sizes with the forgings and stuff. Back in the 70s, you would need 8 to 12 thousandths clearance when they're cold.
Right.
And today, 1.5.
But even back then, that was a pretty loose engine at 8 to 12. So even back then, you could run in the 4 to 5s and be fine.
Okay. Yeah, and I was talking blower motors and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
So they would get
Right.
excessively big.
Right.
But
I mean, if I were you, just my recommendations to, we're getting up against a break. My recommendation to you, Tom, would be, in your case, since everything's good and straight, you've already checked your taper, use a good crosshatch, a ball hone in one of the, not the ball, the ball hones that are have all the little like spider webs with the balls on the end of it. You know what I'm talking about. Use that, not one of these stone type hones. You'll get a better pattern. They actually work better. Coat the thing in a coffee can of oil as you're doing that to get it to get it good and lubricated. Run that thing in and out of there with a air drill or something, or a electric drill. Run it up and down the bore as fast as you can. Spinning it. That's how you get that good nice crosshatch pattern. You'll get another thousandths or two out of it that way. And of course, knock your ridge off the top with a ridge reaming tool if you can. You need to do that. But after that, just hone it, put some new rings in those new pistons, and call it good.
Okay.
I don't think you'll have any issues at all.
And then as far as changing the weight of the pistons, do you think I need to get it rebalanced, or?
It's always, that's always a good idea on any engine. If you can go through the process of having it balanced, in just my world and what I've determined over the years, especially on those earlier engines like that, our balancing techniques today versus what they used to have back then, if you can get the engine balanced, it just makes everything work, last, it's smoother, everything is just better if you can do that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's worth spending the money on. I'd take the 220 I would have spent on boring it, and since you're that good on the cylinders, spend that money on the balancing, and you'll be better off in the end.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yep, I would do that. Yep, for sure.
Well, thanks, fellas.
You're very welcome, Tom. Great question, by the way. Appreciate you calling in. And you want to add anything to that at all, Kurt?
Nope.
Okay. We'll come back then, and we'll talk to Jerry in Greeley. He's got an old Jeep transfer case and transmission that we'll talk him over. And Mike has an answer for us on our speeding ticket question. So if you've got something you want to add to that, when was the first speeding ticket issued? And what's the worst speeding ticket you ever received? We'll be back with that next here on Drive Radio. John Rush, Kurt Anderson, AM 560 KLZ.
Worn out shocks and struts make your car handle like a banana boat being towed by a super tanker. Fix that pavement pontoon now and get 4 qualifying Napa or Rancho shocks and struts for the price of 3 with a mail-in rebate offer. So stop sloshing around and conquer the job with Napa Know-How. Mail-in rebate offer for Visa prepaid card in the amount of the lowest cost unit at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 10/31/14.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4. Located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, they're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
And Matt's got some good music going for us there. Life in the Fast Lane. So let's find out from Mike in Littleton his speeding ticket story. Mike, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, excuse me. First of all, I don't make a habit out of getting speeding tickets. I've gotten very few. I'm 70 years old now, and I've gotten very few. But there were two that actually stand out.
All right.
One, I was 17 years old in 1961, and a friend of mine and I were fooling around late at night, and I had a 40 Chevy with a 302 GMC with 5 1-barrels on it and a cutout. And the cutout is what got me in trouble.
I'll bet.
And I went roaring through a small town, and it took a cop out of his chair from 2 or 3 blocks away, and he hopped in his car and followed the sound and pulled me over. He had clocked me at 110 and a 25.
Oh boy!
Which was, it was actually a semi-rural neighborhood. The houses were set way back, and it just had a really low speed limit. And I got out of the car, and I begged and pleaded with him not to give me a ticket. And he looked at me and he said, "You look like a pretty good kid, probably stupid." But he took my driver's license, put it in his pocket, and he said, "Here's what you're going to do. It's going to be real late when you get home tonight. You're going to wake your dad up, and you're going to tell him what you did here tonight, because tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, your phone's going to ring, and it's going to be me." And sure enough, 7 o'clock the next morning, the phone rang, and I had already told my dad, and we had to go down to the police station a few towns away, and they gave me back the driver's license.
That's a good learning lesson.
Nowadays, of course,
that
would be a helicopter chase.
That's right. Right.
The other one was on the Ohio Turnpike in 1966, and I was blasting across there, and I had my speedometer pegged at 120, and I saw a cop go the other way, and I watched him disappear out of sight, and I figured I'm good to go, and I'm riding along, and all at once I'm looking in my rear view, and I'm going 120, and this thing is coming up on me like I'm standing still.
Wow.
So I eased out of it, and he pulled me over, and he gave me a ticket for 80 and a 70.
Wow.
And he took me into the Justice of the Peace in the local town, and as we walked up the stairs, the Justice of the Peace met him and said, "You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?" And the cop mumbled something that sounded like, "Yeah." And the Justice of the Peace looked at me and said, "You got $64? He said, "You pay me, you can be on your way. If you don't pay me, you're going to spend a couple of weeks in our jail waiting for a real judge."
Oh boy!
But yeah, it was a whole different time.
Oh man, yeah, those are good stories. Good stuff.
By the way, my Napa store over here near Kipling and Bowles does carry a Lucas ZDTP.
Awesome. Okay.
They carry it. I don't know if the other stores do.
Perfect.
And the last 440 that I rebuilt, when I opened it up, the pistons were 165 down in the hole. We calculated it was a 7-to-1 motor.
Wow.
With the heads that were on it at the time, it was a 7-to-1.
Yeah, so it's very low compression.
Wow, that is low compared to today.
Yeah. Well, you can. It's a whole other topic for another day. But the direct injection engines now, they're back up to 11, 12, 13 to 1 compression now. So that's where we're getting some of the efficiencies back. And the direct injection, they can keep the engine from detonating and all that. So it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, well, it has a very strong cooling effect.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Well, very good. Thanks for the show, guys.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate the story.
Stories.
Yeah, we will. Appreciate that, Mike. That's awesome. Great story. Let's go to Jerry, see if we can help him out with his Jeep. One line open, 303-477-5600. Jerry, what's going on this fine Saturday morning?
Well, a friend has an old Willys flat fender, and if I remember right, I think the transmission is a Spicer 18, and the transfer case is a Dana 300, I think, with a Saturn overdrive. And once a year, he's got to drain an excess of gear lube out of the transmission because it seems to migrate forward out of the transfer case.
So is it all the original running gear that's in it?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
It's been adapted.
Okay, so it's got a T18 and a 300 T case behind it, and then it's got what overdrive in it?
A Saturn overdrive.
Okay.
And then there an advanced adapter to made it to the bell housing,
Right.
all works. But so I'm assuming he's got a bad seal, but I still don't quite understand how that gear lube gets pressed out of the transfer case into the transmission.
They'll actually do that if the seal goes bad. And that 300's got a seal on the inside, going into it. If it in fact is a 300, they had a seal going into the transfer case, and if that's the case, then yeah, the seal goes bad and the oil can run back and forth. In the old days, they would run back and forth anyways. They just made them that way.
Well, he doesn't seem bothered by it. He just drains it out of the tranny once a year and adds it back to the transfer case, and I assume it'll get worse over time.
It will get worse over time. Yeah, what he needs to do is either pull the T case off the back or pull the whole unit out, separate it, and figure out where the oil's going back and forth from. But yeah, somewhere in there he's got a seal that's bad or a passage basically that's allowing oil to pass back and forth.
And I was wondering if possibly he might have a plugged vent on that transfer case.
Could be, but I doubt it. That was pretty common on those to do what you're talking about if a seal's bad. Or, and that one's all been changed, by the way. So everybody else out there listening, if you want to chime in, that's great. But in this case, given the fact we don't know all of the specifics, what adaptation was used, etc., it could be something, Jerry, even with the original install and how things were mated, etc. That's something you'd have to really look at closely. With it not being original and being put together, because the 18 never came in that, of course. The 300 never came in that. I don't think the 300 ever was behind a T18 in the first place, so there had to be some adaptation there also. All that needs to be looked at very closely.
All right. I'll pass that along. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Yeah, anytime you do external modifications, Kurt, it changes everything.
Yep.
Let me rephrase that. Anytime you get away from stock,
there you go,
it changes everything. And in this particular case, yeah, none of it's stock.
You may introduce things that weren't supposed to be there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll help you out with whatever we can. We'd love to hear from you. Speeding tickets. When was the first speeding ticket issued? I've also got some tech tips for one of our listeners up in David in Idaho. We'll talk about that as soon as we get done with Mike, who's got a story on speeding tickets. Mike, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, John?
Doing great.
Hey, I'll tell you a funny one. In about 1972-ish, after I got out of the crotch and Marine Corps, that is, I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I was shooting pool in a neighborhood bar, and I had my quarters on the table, and this guy needed a ride home. I had a 69 Roadrunner, and he lived a mile away. I gave him a ride home and sped back through a 35 zone. Cop pulls me. He pulls me over. I probably do a 45, 50. He says, son, where the hell are you going? I says, sir, you see that bar over there? I got my quarters on the table, and I got to get back to shoot the next game of pool. And he looked at me and did a 360 and says, son, where do you live? I says, sir, you see that greenhouse right there at 11 o'clock? I live right there. He did another 360. He says to me, he says, son, I want you to drive this car home, and if I see it on the road again tonight, I'm going to give you a ticket, and I'm going to lock you up. I said, thank you, sir. I drove home, ran to the bar, picked up my cue, and shot pool. That was West Ellis Cops, 1972-ish,
yeah.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And, I mean, today, I'd still be in jail.
Yeah, today's a lot different.
But I was totally sober. I mean, I really was.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Our resistance is really high up there.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great story, Mike. Good stuff.
All right, thanks.
Hey, man, thanks for calling in. Good stories. We'd like to hear some more of those. Let us know what when your first, or what was your worst speeding ticket, or a story that even goes along with that. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Nobody yet has answered. When was the first speeding ticket ever issued in the United States? We'd love to hear that answer. I know it, but we want to know if you do. And we're going to come right back. I've got a couple of tech tips from you from David up in Idaho. We'll get those as soon as we come back. Lines open. Give us a call, 303 477-5600. And again, Kurt Anderson, our resident European expert, which again, a lot of you guys out there driving those European cars, Volkswagen, Volvo, which is, Swedish, but whatever, you name it. Kurt can answer it. That's what we're here for. We'd love to hear from you. Again, give us a call, 303-477-5600. Matt, take it away. We'll be right back right after this here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
K&N's premium oil filters are very different. They make
I know the answer.
have a 1-inch nut welded on the top so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Your garage is filled with awesome things, like your collection of unused sporting goods and an odd assortment of scrap lumber. Dump it all. You'll need the room, because Napa has Mobil 1 synthetic oil for $5.99 a quart. Yep, for $5.99 a quart, you can fill your garage with Mobil 1. Now that's a good use of space. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 9/30/14.
All right, John Rush, Kurt Anderson, Drive Radio. We are back at it, and Kurt is at the west end of Colfax, right off of I-70, and he, again, is our resident Euro expert, has a fantastic shop, and as you're heading west on Colfax, right off of I-70, if you're coming from that direction, just look right to the right-hand side, and you'll run right into Kurt's shop. If you're coming from the west end heading east, how far are you from the little interchange at Colfax and 6 there?
We're about, maybe a quarter mile. Okay. You'll go past Christopher Dodge, Subaru, and then us.
Got it. And on the north side of the road. So Kurt's facility, north side of the road on Colfax, west of I-70. Easy to find if you're over in that neck of the woods. He's your guy, and I've sent people to him from all over the metro area with Euro vehicles, and have not had a complaint yet. In fact, get compliments every time I send somebody over to Kurt. So he is your resident Euro expert. If you need something in that department,
appreciate
make
it,
him your
Thanks.
phone call. No, it's a fact. So Paul and Parker, what's going on today?
Yeah, I was wondering, I bought a used car a while ago, and at first I just thought, somebody didn't put the timing belt cover back on it. But then when I got to looking at it, the sprockets are different than the car I used to have before that.
What year model is it, Paul?
It's an 02 Focus, and on the cams it says Kent cams on it.
Okay.
It looks like there's some type of adjustment you can do on there. But anyway, the car's getting super gas mileage, and I was just wondering what looks like there's some type of adjustment you can do on those cams.
I don't know about that car in particular, but Focuses, people like to kind of make modifications, that type of thing to them, and they may have put on an adjustable cam sprocket, and you can kind of shift the torque curve depending on where you put that. You could get better mileage, better low-end torque, that type of thing.
And it looks like, for just a quick Google search that I did, I think Kurt is right on track, Paul. Kent Cams makes all sorts of things for Ford Focuses, so my guess is somebody probably put an aftermarket cam in that, and it probably does have some adjustment, and that may very well be why you're getting better fuel economy, etc. So that's probably an aftermarket cam somebody put in the car.
Yeah, but so.
Okay, so when they did the adjustment on that, would they have used like a scope or something?
I have no idea. I am not a Focus expert at all, and I'm definitely not a Kent Cams Focus Ford expert. I have no. In fact, this is the first I've even heard of Kent Cams. You mentioning that, I just Googled it, and they have a lot of stuff for that particular. For looks like a lot of different Fords, not just your car, but a lot of different Ford cars. So I'm here's my thought process. You could probably contact either them or somebody that sells their products. I just looked up, I just Googled it and got a BurtonPower.com. They sell their products, and I'm guessing anybody like that would be able to, and they're a European company, by the way, because Focus is worldwide. Mm-hmm. So that's where that gets even to a bigger market. But I'm guessing if you called somebody that does that, they would know exactly what's going on. And Kent Cams, of course, they would know. Just look them up, Google them, and find them, and I'm sure they could help you out.
Yeah, there's probably a spec sheet or something that came with it, and
yep. I would venture to guess that. Well, to Kurt's point, there always is. I mean, somewhere, someplace, there's a spec sheet that would tell you exactly how that works and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Also, I noticed it has one of those resonators on it, and I was thinking of getting rid of that. I was wondering, would that have anything to do with the gas mileage?
I would say probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm guessing that it's probably coming more from the camshaft and whatever they've done engine tuning. And by the way, the website you can go to find everything out you want to is called KentCams.com. Real easy. So you basically have it right in front of you. They are what I can see is a European company. So you're going to have to, look at how you contact them. I probably would send them an email to begin with versus trying to, call them on the telephone. But they've got lots of products, for those vehicles. And that's so somebody at some point looks like they've spent some money and did some pretty good research on that, or because I guarantee you that was not a cheap endeavor they took on that car.
Yeah, well, I'm getting about, with doing the hybrid mileaging, I'm getting 50 miles to a gallon.
That's good. That's excellent.
Great,
good job. Good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're in business, Paul. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call. And Kurt, I say this all the time. I've never done a show yet on any of these drive radio programs I've ever done in the history of doing them where I didn't go home knowing something more than I came to the show with.
Yeah, no, it's great for us.
And here's another example. So I you guys that are out there calling in, I learn as much from you in a lot of weeks as you do from us. So please keep it coming. Here's a great example of it. I'll do more research and find more out about Kent Cams and who they are and what they do. And
I just pulled that up. That's quite a website.
It is. Sure. And in Kurt's business, it probably fits right in with a lot of stuff you're doing, Kurt, because they've got a full array of things for all sorts of different vehicles. So I don't know much about them. I can't vouch for them, but sounds like Paul just did.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's having really good luck with a car he bought that's got that camshaft in it. So Mark and Aurora, you're up next. What's going on today?
If you would, just drive for you.
Mark, are you there?
I noticed his taillight.
Hello, Mark. Are you there? I think Mark has got us on hold or something, Larry. I'm going to put him back on hold, get him back on the horn, and we'll get right to him. In the meantime, I will get to our tech tips. David in Idaho, a very faithful listener, basically sent me some tech tips. He's going to start doing this on a weekly basis. He actually asked permission to do this first, which I don't know why he did. Any of you guys out there that have a tip, email it to us. That's easy. John@drive-radio.com, or go to drive-radio.com, fill in the contact us, and we'd love to whatever kind of tip you've got, we'll mention it. So here's a couple. One, how to how to use valve lapping compound if you've got a Phillips head screw that you know is going to be a pain to get out. Phillips screws can be a real pain to remove. Sometimes you find yourself in a tight spot or you're working on something delicate and can't use an impact driver. Here's what you do before, and he says, I stress this point, before you strip the head of a Phillips screw. Apply a small amount of lapping compound to the tip of the screwdriver that's in good condition, square up with the screw, and twist away. I've used this on stubborn throttle body screws on aging cars for years. Without stripping the screw head, you'll be amazed at how well it works. So basically, it's just giving a little bit of more gription, if you would, to the screw and to the screwdriver itself. And great tip. In fact, there's times that, whether you're working on a car or something else, that would actually come in handy. So have a little valve lapping compound, hanging around your toolbox, and use that as you need to, even around the house for different projects. Tech 2. When doing exhaust work that requires U-bolt clamps, take a crescent wrench and adjust the wrench along the length of the bolt. So, lengthwise on the bolt, adjust the wrench to it so that the crescent wrench is over the exposed threads. Bend the thread studs back and forth until the exposed threads break off. The benefits are twofold. One, you don't scalp yourself when you're working under the car. Two, if you need to remove the clamp at a later date, you don't have to deal with those rusty threads. So a lot of the newer cars, by the way, have got exhaust configurations where this is not as easy to do, but on some of the older vehicles where you're using U-bolt type clamps, I could see, in fact, in the old days, I used to take a cutoff wheel.
I was going to say cutoff wheel.
Yeah, I used to take a cutoff wheel, but if you're at home and don't have the air tools, etc., you can take a crescent wrench and do that. But yeah, Kurt, I used to just buzz those off and make them nice and smooth. And to his point, it was easier getting them back off. You're going to replace them anyways if you ever go to do that. You're going to throw another $2 clamp on it again down the road anyway, so cutting those off never made a difference, and that's how I did it. So great tips. Appreciate that very much. And by the way, if you've got any more tips like that, be sure to send them to us. We'll get them on air. And David up in Idaho, you know who you are. Thank you very much for sending those, and continue to send those, and we'll talk about them as we go through the shows in the future. One line open. 303-477-5600. Looks like we had two calls come in about the same time, but Mark is first. Mark in Aurora, what's going on today?
Well, other than being negligent, listening on hold real quick.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, no problem.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much. Of all the unexpected topics to come up with, this speeding ticket trip down memory lane is the most intriguing radio. Sometimes I get so sick and fed up with all the political talk, which I'm up to my eyeballs in, and I love, but we need a breather, so thanks.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I appreciate that, Mark. And I need one, too. So, yes, I understand everything you're saying.
Thanks for a worthy respite. And interesting correlation, not that I mean to kick you on this, but politically these days, some of these cops, and don't get me wrong, I raised my sons right by the law, and even though I'm an anarchist at heart and despise the PIG four-letter cops, my heart goes out to all the good cops out there. I know that's a tough job and not an easy job to do.
Yeah, you're right.
Some of these youngsters coming back from the military, and who knows where the cops are getting, and some of these guys are so mean and spiteful toward people these days, and I see all these cases. If you go on the alternate news outlets, of course, they're rife with the instances of cops shooting dogs and old ladies and seniors, and you name it. You go for your cell phone and you wind up dead by the cop, and it's just a shame. But when you take us back to reflect on the old days, it reminds me of the day when, like I say, we trusted the cop. We were raised that he was the man, and in those days he was the man.
Right.
I remember my brother worked at Elitch's Gardens here in Denver, back at the old Elitch's, and boy, you gave the cops any trouble toward closing time there, and they would have a nightly ritual of taking you out back under the roller coaster and having their way with you. And my wild speeding ticket story is when I was 18 years old in 1975, I ran through a radar trap, and I had seen so many One Adam 12 shows, I knew I could easily outrun those guys, and which I did, and then some guy in the neighborhood backed out in front of me, and I knew I was either going to have to drive on the lawn around him, and who knows what would happen then. And like a young dummy that I was, I just pulled over to the side of the road and called it quits. And it took a little while for the cop to get there, but so I got arrested and dragged downtown to the old jail, and man, those were the days again when the cops they didn't have cameras on them. They could do what they want with you. I was at the old jail down at 13th and Cherokee down there, 14th or something like that. And I'm sorry, it's not Cherokee. It was like Champa. I'm wrong. The building is still there. It's right next to the new Colorado Convention Center. Anyway, there was this poor blubbering guy in the cell across from me, and he had been hauled in on drunk driving, and he was wearing a business suit. He was most out of place in this nest of ruffians and teenagers and all this stuff. And he had wet himself, and the whole front of his suit was just horrible. And he was a blubbering, and so he was sitting there crying in his beer, literally. And the cops come back once or twice, and the guys in the jail cell told him, "Man, quiet down. The cops didn't put up with no blubbering idiots all night." So this guy was crying. They gave the guy 2 warnings, and then the cop told him, "Look, you quit your crying, because the next time we come back here, you're going to wish that we had not." And the guy shut up for quite a while, and his cellmates helped console him. But after 15 minutes or so, he started crying his blues again. Man, them cops come back, and they opened the cell. All the prisoners backed away from him, and they worked him over right in front of us. And it made me afraid of cops for a lot of years after that.
Yeah, good learning lesson.
But yeah, I love all these stories of these guys from back in the day. The guy with the '69 Roadrunner, boy, does that ever bring back memories of the cars we used to drive. And now they're all worth $100,000. And it's funny to turn over 50 and start talking like an oldster. Them were the days.
Hey, Mark, appreciate you calling in. We're up against a break. And, hey, guys, thanks so much for all the trips down memory lane. We enjoy it. We've got more of them coming up. And we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got one line open, 303-477-5600. And one line open is all. We'll be back. John Rush, Kurt Anderson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing the highest level of service.
Yeah, he was going. The story was great. I mean, that was great.
Providing you with world.
To say that one was good.
Experience working on both.
As I say, my old man has said stuff about that. Like, they didn't mess around back in the.
We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker.
They did not mess around.
Come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price.
Oh, yeah.
Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction.
I would agree, but also he's got a point. There are guys that came out in my time when that were serving in the military when I did, that kind of came out with.
The inventor of reusable cotton filters has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com. and enter your vehicle identification number off your dash.
Oh, yeah.
Car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists.
Oh, yeah.
Have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4, located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're
I completely agree. But guys my age that came out, about 2006, 2007 time frame, kind of have that sense of entitlement, like, heck, I went out, but I had that sense of entitlement when I came out that I'm invincible and that, nothing's going to bring me down. If I can go through a deployment, I can deal with you and stuff like that. And it was just, no, that's not the way it works.
Want to know how to make your engine look like $1 million? Step 1, don't spend $1 million. Step 2, just spend $2.99 at Napa for Gunk Engine Degreaser and get a $2.99 mail-in rebate. Step 3, do the math. For next to nothing, you and your engine just hit the jackpot. Sweet. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. Mail-in rebate available for the entire sale price at participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 9/30.
I'm going to teach you right now
how
to find a good, honest mechanic.
No way.
Ask about the warranty. Their warranty will tell you everything you need to know because
I was asked to right when I got out of the Navy, and I was like, no, I just could not do it.
the best warranty in the state. 3 years, 36,000 miles on every repair. Always select a Colorado Select Auto Care Center at coloradoselect.org. 3 years, 36,000 miles. That's all you need to know.
All right, and Kurt and I and the guys were talking through the break just about, police in general. And yes, our hats go off to all those guys that are serving in all the different ways they do. Not just our firemen, but our policemen, firemen. The whole likes, and for folks in the military, et cetera. Yes, we appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
In every area, yes. To Kurt's to reiterate what he's saying, thank you. What I was going to say was, in every line, whether it be car repair, radio DJs, radio personalities,
football players, policemen, firemen, you name it, there is good and bad in everything because, Kurt, there are human beings in every line of every type of business and every walk of life there is. So, yes, there is going to be good and bad in every one of those. Yep.
It's life. You're never going to have perfection in any particular line that's out there. And our industry for years got beat up for being the quote unquote rip-off artists of the world. And yes, there were some that did that, and yes, there's still some today that do that. Just like in every other industry, it's exactly the same way. What we do here is try to find the cream of the crop, the guys that aren't that way, the guys that do have a good heart, that care about the customer, that care about doing things right, and that's what we do on this show every single solid week. So let's go to Mike, who's been holding a while. Mike, welcome. What's going on with your wrecking yard motor?
Well, I just picked up a 6-liter out of New Hampshire, of all places.
Okay.
Got a lot of corrosion on the block, the aluminum. My main concern is like on the alternator and the bracketry. It looks like they used kind of a caustic soap to clean this thing up in their steam cleaner.
Okay.
And it's kind of black and white. I just wanted to see if there's any newer cleaners out there on the market to clean some of this up and not tear up the electrics.
And
the old school way is disassemble it, bead blast it, paint it.
Right. Make sure that I'm looking. I know the right. So is this a 6-liter Chevy gas engine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's 6-liter Fords and there's 6-liter.
I
want to make sure I was on the right track here of what you were doing. On some of the my suggestion would be, if you're looking to have this thing, is it going in a street rod, or what are you doing with it?
It's going back in another pickup truck. It doesn't have to be super pretty, but I do like my stuff clean when I open the hood,
Got it. Well, and if that's the case, what I would do is there's 2 ways you can do it. If you're looking at the aluminum pieces and you just want to get those good and cleaned up, you could actually take some acid. They make the old aluminum wheel cleaners was just acid. It was just an acid cleaner, and that would actually make everything be nice and uniform. And you could use that on the aluminum components. It wouldn't damage anything, won't hurt the electrical or anything along those lines.
That was my concern, is the electrics, especially inside the alternator. Because I was thinking about the mag wheel cleaner, but I didn't know if any of the newer stuff was better than others. I haven't used that stuff in years.
And it's not as popular as it used to be because most of the wheels now are coated. But we used that back in the old days to clean the old wheels. But, that would work for that. You're not going to bother anything down inside of it. There's nothing in there that's aluminum. The only thing it really affects is the aluminum.
Okay.
Regular steel, regular plastic, things like that really doesn't bother any of that. It's really just going to attack the aluminum. That's just the way it works. So I wouldn't squirt it way down inside the alternator. I'd
cover it up.
Try to get as much of that covered as you can. But if a little bit gets down in there, it's not going to bother anything.
All right, I just mainly concerned about cleaning up the case and not tearing up that clear coat insulation on the alternator windings.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not going to bother that.
Covered up, common sense.
Yeah.
Probably be fine.
Okay, I just wonder if there's anything else out there. And on a speeding ticket note, my last speeding ticket was back in 2007. Wife and I were traveling across I-80 in Nevada, and having just had, a brand new car, new 06 turbo Passat, not realizing just how swiftly that turbo boosted. Coming through Winnemucca, I was passing a line of trucks to keep from getting another rock chip on the windshield.
Yep.
And Highway Patrol decided to pull me over and tell me I was doing close to 100 miles an hour in just a matter of moments. But thankfully, he didn't hook me up and throw me away. He just wrote me a ticket for $150.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, at least you didn't have to go down and pay it right then and there. That's the plus side.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't have, the chrome bracelets on or anything like that.
Yeah, the downside is the states reciprocate those points, and so it still goes on your license, I believe, does it not?
I never saw too much change as far as my insurance or anything goes, so I don't know if they bumped it or not, but
that's good.
I think they're happy to get the monies and be done with it.
Good for you. Awesome.
Strictly luck.
Yeah, good story, Mike.
I thought Nevada was pretty open out there. Not a lot
yeah, there's a lot of areas where it ain't a whole lot of nothing but sagebrush.
Yeah.
That's
That's the ones that get you, though. About the time you think there's nobody around, a cop jumps out from underneath the sagebrush and gets you.
Yeah, well, I was going into Reno for Hot August Nights here a few weeks ago, and between Fernley and Sparks, there was a speed trap going on. Local police departments working in conjunction with each other. I counted 12 cops.
Wow.
In about 5 miles.
Wow.
They were pulling people over left and right.
That's like US 36 going towards Federal on Saturday mornings, where they usually have quite a few out there, 3 or 4 that work that area. So yeah, they're it still happens to this day. Yep.
Oh yeah, and I was putting through in my Classic, and it made a little more noise than the other vehicles around. And I was like, oh crap, just what I need.
Yep. Not what you don't need. Hey, Mike, appreciate the phone call.
Yeah.
All right, guys, keep up the good work.
We'll do it. Thank you very much. See if we can get one more call in here before the top of the hour. Nick's been holding a while. Nick, welcome. What's going on today?
I was was it Ulysses S. Grant when he was president?
As far as what? Speeding ticket?
Yeah.
No.
On a horse?
Yeah, he was driving a buggy. I know he got a ticket, but I couldn't remember whether it was the first one or not.
No, and I don't know. And the one the answer I'm looking for is a little later than that, when automobiles were actually first starting to arrive on our American streets. That one would have been a little bit prior to that. Now, your story may be correct. I'll have to look that one up. I hadn't heard that before, so I'll have to go back and check that out. That sounds like an interesting story.
Well, I've got a quick story for you.
Sure, go ahead. We got a couple of minutes, Nick.
I was 16 and got my driver's license. My dad refused to buy me a car, so I got a paper route. And my cousin offered me a 36 Chevy, didn't have a speck of paint on it, was completely rusted, for $10.
Wow.
So I went over and got it. So I was a mile away from my house, so I headed home. And a highway patrolman pulled me over and wrote me 17 tickets. Nothing worked. No lights, no brakes, no nothing.
Wow.
But the good thing about it was I was living in California, and they had a council that if you thought you were being treated unfairly, you could go in front of them and complain. So I got out of all the 17 tickets.
Good for you. Wow. Good job. Awesome. Good story, Nick. Appreciate the phone call. Let's see if we can squeeze one more in before we go to the top of the hour, and that is Bill in Lakewood. Bill, you've got a comment on our Phillips head screw tip. What is it?
What I do is, it comes back from my days when I worked on airplanes. I kept a snap-on with the carbide tips years ago.
Yep.
And that's all I ever used it for when I sat a Phillips starting to strip out, because they were so sharp and pointy, they would pretty much get anything out.
Interesting. Yeah, I
still got it to this day. I don't use it for nothing except that.
And I'll have to, you know what? I'll have to look on the tool truck next time I'm on there and see if they still sell those. I bet they do. I'll have to take a peek and see.
But it worked. It always worked.
Yeah, great tip. No, good tip on that, Bill. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. With that, we got to end this first hour of Drive Radio. Lines are cleared out. We've got them opened up. Call us. We'll get you lined up for our second hour of Drive Radio right when we come back, 303-477-5600. I'll try to get to our other topics. If we get to them, great. If we don't, no big deal. We'll keep on this topic of, and we still don't have the answer, when was the first speeding ticket issued here in the United States? And tell us your stories of what the worst speeding ticket you ever received was. We've had some great stories in this first hour. We'll keep this trend going into the second hour. But Kurt Anderson from Anderson's over in the Golden area, right off of I-70 and Colfax. I'm John Rush, your host. We'll be back right after this. Matt, our engineer, and Larry Unger Stay with us. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me every Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. for Sportsman of Colorado. Hunting, fishing, camping, guns, and ammo. We'll get you ready for the upcoming archery and muzzle-loading seasons. Oh, and we'll also let you know where the fish are biting. Check out our website, sportsmanofcolorado.com. If you love the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado. Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays 1 to 2 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
Hey, let's go shoot some stuff. It'll be fun. Smith & Wesson Demo Days at DCF Guns in Castle Rock, both today and tomorrow. KLZ 560 will be out there from 1 o'clock until 3 tomorrow. But the Demo Days, both today and tomorrow, it's your chance to try out any Smith & Wesson that they have on hand. Rifles and pistols. We got a couple to give away, too. A free M&P 1522, that's a rifle. We've also got a .38 caliber model 640 revolver that we'll give away on Sunday. I know, that got your attention. KLZ 560 will be out there from 1 o'clock until 3 on Sunday afternoon, so I hope that we get to see you and say hi, maybe take a couple of shots together. That'll be fun. Smith & Wesson Demo Days at DCF Guns on Park Street in Castle Rock. You'll be there, right?
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. The ISIS terrorist army, bigger in numbers than previously thought. White House spokesperson Josh Earnest.
The intelligence community has assessed that ISIL can muster between 20,000 and 31,500 fighters across Iraq and Syria, and that's based on a new review of all source intelligence reports.
Former Republican Governor Mike Huckabee speaking on Fox News saying it's time to call it a war with ISIS.
The sad part is that he's more interested in satisfying the left-wing base than securing America and recognizing the threat not just to Iraq, but I'm talking about the threat to the four of us on this couch and to every single person who's sitting around their breakfast table in America today. This is a legitimate threat. It truly does rise to the level of a clear and present danger, and we've got a president going to the dictionary to see if he can find a better word for war. It's crazy.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
Freedom 560 with Ken Clark. Weekdays at noon on KLZ 560.
Some
mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, Drive Radio, John Rush, your host, and Kurt Anderson. If you're just joining us because it's Sunday afternoon, thank you for listening, but don't call in because we are pre-recorded and there will be nobody in studio to answer your question. So if it's Sunday, thank you for listening. We do appreciate it, but send us an email instead, john@drive-radio.com, or just go to our website, drive-radio.com, and let us know what your question is, and we'll get that answer. But Kurt Anderson from Anderson's over in the Golden area. He's our west side of the fence, our west shop. Does a great job, specializes in Euro vehicles. So if you've got a question on anything Euro, and it's interesting, typically when Kurt's on, we get all kinds of Euro guys calling in, but this is fall, and I get there's people out doing things, etc. But if you specifically have a Euro question, so Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, any of the other Euros, your big Volvo specialist. In fact, isn't that really what you guys
That's what we
started with?
On. Yeah. Actually, when we started with my dad back in, the 60s, we did primarily British.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
MG, Austin Healey, Jaguar.
Okay.
Got into Volvo, did that exclusively until, the late... It's been a while. In the 80s, we started taking on different European makes.
Yeah, and so you can hear from listening to Kurt, this is not a shop that just started yesterday. This is a shop that's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, actually, my dad started foreign car service in 1953.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
So over 50, 60, almost 70 years now.
Yeah.
You're getting up close to 70 years now, Kurt. So that is a long time in the business. Shows you some of the individuals that we have associated with Drive Radio, our Colorado Select Napa Auto Care Group. You can see that our guys get it. They know what's going on, and that's why I encourage you, if you like our show, please use our facilities that help sponsor this. And by the way, not just our facilities that sponsor it, but we've got several sponsors. We've got Isaac Bouchard, our resident broker. His phone number, 303-475-1462. He does a fantastic job for us on the new used cars. Anything you need when it comes to buying a car, selling a car, acquiring a different car, whatever it is, he can help you out and does a fantastic job. Paul Leuenberger, he's also our resident insurance guy, insurance agent, I should say. And yes, he's a guy, and he does a fantastic job. I've switched some things over to him just recently. He's saving me half, and I'm not exaggerating, half on my homeowner's insurance. That's a big, big difference. 303-619-9891 is Paul's phone number. He's with American National Insurance, and again, does a great job. You'll see Paul out at a lot of the car shows. If you go to any of the bigger car shows, you're going to see Paul there, walking around, handing out stuff, running a booth, all those different things, and he does a fantastic job. So, we've got a question of the day. And if you're listening on Sunday, sorry you can't call in, but just be listening. There's a lot of people that have, and it's been an enjoyable first hour. When was the first speeding ticket issued? That's our question. Second of all, what was your worst speeding ticket that you've ever received? And it could be something recently. It could be something way back in your memory banks. You name it. You tell us. We'd love to hear it. 303-477-5600. And along those lines, Scott Watley, who, by the way, is coming up next here on Sportsman's of Colorado. They're on at 1 o'clock, 1 to 2 p.m. every Saturday. Here's what he just sent me. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, an estimated 100,000 people per day are cited for speeding in the United States with an average cost of $150 per ticket. That generates around $15 million per day, or $5.5 billion a year in revenue. That's a big number, guys. So, do they generate money writing speeding tickets? Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They're not generating much from me, knock on wood, because I haven't had one for a very, very, very long time. About the time I say that, I'll get one going home, so let's hope that doesn't happen. But, yeah, I do my best to make sure that I'm not involved in one of those types of situations where I have to get a speeding ticket. So Scott also just said the fastest speed ever recorded on a speeding ticket for a car was 242 miles an hour in a 75-mile-an-hour zone in May of 2003 in Texas. The car was a Swedish, I can't pronounce this, Koenigsegg Koenigsegg CC85. Not familiar with the car at all. So 242 in a 75-mile-an-hour speed zone. So I guess if you're going to get a speeding ticket, you might as well make it worth your while, right, Kurt?
Yeah.
242 and a 75. That is fast. First of all, 242 period is fast. So, hey, we'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Larry's busy answering the phone, but keep calling us and we'll get you queued up, get you right on air. 303-477-5600. All right, Kurt was going to add to, we had a tech tip earlier in the show, the first hour, about getting Phillips head screws, out. You were going to add something to that. What is it?
Well, which brought up, there's a lot of, what would you call them? Cross point,
four-headed screws, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, everybody calls them Phillips.
Right.
There's actually many different types of Phillips screws, and the slots are different, so they require a different screwdriver to,
different head.
Yeah, different head to really fit them. And I just pulled that up. You can pull it up on, Google, when a Phillips is not a Phillips. It's really good. We have several different, they're all four-slotted, cross-type screws, but we have Phillips, Posi-Drive, Cello-Fit, Frierson, BNAE, Torque Set. So there's quite a number of different ones. Make sure the head fits. And if you have any questions, I look it up and see. We used to see a lot of Posi-Drives, which are a slightly rounder.
Yeah, they were offset. They didn't really, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't meet exactly.
That's a different one.
Is that different?
Right, but the Posi-Drive is kind of a rounder head than the Phillips, which is very pointy.
Got it.
And if you try to use a Phillips and a Posi-Drive, and like I say, we used to see that a lot. If they were just a little bit tight, you had to put a little bit of torque on them. You'd strip them out.
And by the way, most of these have a little bit of a different designation on the screw head itself to help you understand. For example, the Posi-Drives, Kurt, and I don't have this in front of me, but didn't they used to have like a little line in between where the Phillips was to let you know that it was different?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, and I should pull up that site you're looking at. But anyways, there's a lot of different, to Kurt's point, show that to YouTube. There you go, perfect, good idea. There's a lot of different screws that are out there. To Kurt's point, make sure you're using the right bit in the first place, because otherwise you'll even have bigger issues. All right, we've got lines coming in. 303-477-5600 is our number. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. And I think my screen's out of order, so I think, is Leon on 2? Or is Mike on line 2? Somebody on the other side tell me. Mike's on 2? All right, I'm going to take Mike on line 2. Mike, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, fellas. I've got, we bought a 2008 Honda Accord EXL with 4-cylinder with 27,000 miles on it at our home in South Carolina.
Okay.
And it was idling pretty rough. And so we don't have much choice but to take it in down there to where we live to the dealer.
Right.
The dealer went ahead and ran the fuel, or I think it's the fuel trim stuff, which is what you guys call it. And it was within spec, came out, they said nothing wrong there. They did change the plugs. I wish I'd have been there to see, because those iridium plugs, I can't imagine that there's a problem at 27,000 miles. And they did a fuel service, checked for vacuum leaks, and did a fuel cleaner in it, and then added a second fuel service. 2 days later, when she took it back and said it's still kind of rough. It's running a little better, not as rough, but she says it's still rough. You know, what could that be? I mean, one of the mechanics said, well, the motor mounts on these are rubber, and these aren't the smoothest 4 cylinders. So anyway, I'm a little baffled.
Is it? I'll have to speak generically on that, but did it change since you bought it? Is that kind of a new thing, or was it there all the time?
It was there all the time. Now, the car was owned by a couple in their 90s. It sat for probably 6 months out of the year, and then we bought it, you know, like I say, 08 with 27,000, and I'm just thinking maybe the old days I would have called it the varnish is varnished up the injectors or something like that, you know, and it just needs to run. Wow.
Yeah, that's so hard to say. If there's any way that you could get into another one to kind of compare to see if
oh, that's a good idea.
You know, I would try that first, and then the other thing on diagnostics, you should be able to see on live data if it's posting misfires, which cylinder it is. I would think that somebody could kind of zero in on that if there is a problem, if it is out of the ordinary, if there is a problem, you know, what that is, where it's coming from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Well, that's what I'll do. You know, she's used to her old Accord was a 6-cylinder, and we got this. We couldn't turn the deal down. It was $10,000 for the car.
That's a good deal.
And that was a good deal. Yeah. And I mean, it's brand spanking new. It looks like it just drove off the showroom floor. It's just, according to her, rough. I haven't had a chance to drive it. I'm going back there in October. So
compared to a V6, that 4 may be,
it will feel rougher.
You know, may feel quote rougher. You know, it may be normal, but
good
yeah, you might just see if you can get another one, compare it.
Yeah, that's a good idea because I know rough is a subjective thing.
Sure, there you go.
That's exactly right. No, you're right. Depends on who's driving it, what they've been used to driving before that. Yep. You know, I drive a lot of new cars, you know, press cars, etc. And you know, even you know, sometimes I have to be reminded of, okay, well, here's what I'm driving now, and you know, I need to make sure my expectations are a little different because every one of them drives a little differently. Now, I will say this. The advancements we've made in just everything from sound deadening to motor mounts to how stiff they can make the subframes, most of the 4-cylinders now are pretty smooth. You really don't know you're driving a 4-cylinder from a V6, but back in 08, it wasn't quite that case.
Yep. Well, I'll get a chance to drive it, and I'll see if I can't find somebody will have one, and that'd be a great idea. Let me see what I find. So.
All right, sounds great, Mike.
I'm thinking maybe if it just runs some more with that fuel cleaner in it, a tank or two may help it too.
It may. Although at 27,000 miles, I doubt it.
Yeah, that's pretty low mileage.
I don't think that's going to be the case.
Power and fuel mileage is okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, but anyway, I appreciate it, fellas, and keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it, and be safe when you go out there to do that. 303-477-5600 is our number. We'll get you right on air. One line open. Kurt Anderson, John Rush, Drive Radio will be back next with Steve from Evans. He's got a question or an answer maybe to our question on when the first speeding ticket was. We'll find out when we come back here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Wants from their vehicle, regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where...
Say that again?
Ability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
I'm switching them up. Leon's on 3, Steve's on 1.
With those squealing brakes. That's why Napa has ProFormer brake pads for as low as $10.99. Just $10.99 to get back to what you're really known for. 80s hair metal and a killer horn. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 9/30/14.
He's got a speeding ticket story.
Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean?
There's a lot of us out there that we watch a lot of racing, and we're addicted to anything that. My wife gets mad at me because I'm a big F1 fan, and I just like anything that goes fast. So, I mean.
I was just looking up this guy that called earlier, the Ken Cam.
It's easy to see how the maze of
Tell you what,
under the hood
you got a
can slow
Ford
down.
Focus with a 2-liter, you can buy just about any single thing you want
with a single
Ken Cam
custom
for a
engineered
Ford
tube.
Focus 2-liter.
No way.
Visit K&N website. Look up the extra horsepower.
You could
K&N, an American manufacturer.
Yeah, you can make that thing just like, yeah.
All right, and we are back. Thanks for listening to us. Almost halfway through the show. Not quite, but we're getting close. We love Drive Radio and what we do every week, and we are the most listened to, most popular car talk show in the Denver metro area, and I would venture to guess one of the most popular shows across the country. Our listenership is extremely high, and I hope we provide you guys with a lot of fun and a lot of information on a weekly basis, because we sure enjoy being here and doing it, and are thrilled to just be here and have the opportunity to do it. And I'm not bragging when I say that. I know from KLZ and some of the stats we get back, we have one of the highest listening audiences on the weekend period in Denver, and are definitely the most listened to car talk program in all of the Denver, Colorado market, and we appreciate everybody out there listening and making us that #1 show. So thank you so much for doing that. We do appreciate it. Leon in Greeley. Leon, what's going on?
Yeah, I had a quick speeding ticket.
Awesome.
Story.
Let's hear it.
I got a ticket for going 10 miles per hour over the limit at my desk.
What?
Yeah, they did not have a citation for an expired business license, so they handed out citations for going 10 miles per hour over the limit.
You got to be joking me.
No, so I have it framed because it actually says, while working at desk, 10 miles per hour over the limit.
So where was this at?
This was in St. Louis, Missouri.
In St. Louis, Missouri. And what year was this?
This was 2002.
Wow.
So 2002, St. Louis, you had an expired business license, and so they wrote you a ticket for speeding at your desk.
That's correct.
That's the best story I've heard yet today.
I'd have plea bargained that to, I don't know, printer being out of paper or something.
Actually, they dismissed it. So.
Unbelievable. What business license were you short on getting renewed?
We owned a brokerage there.
Okay. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Huh.
That, you know what? I think you get the award today for the best story so far. So we got another hour and a half to go, and I know, but I think that one's, I don't think anybody's going to top that one. Speeding ticket at your desk. That's pretty good.
Right.
Leon, great story, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it very much. And I'm laughing with Leon, not at Leon. That would just be, I'd almost want to just take that thing and hand it right back.
Yeah.
Here's your ticket. Sorry. You know where you can. No, I won't say that. Okay, let's keep going. One line open, 303-477-5600. Stephen Evans, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Hey, I don't know if I got the right answer. I was curious on that speeding ticket myself, so I did a little research, and I don't know. Was it in Dayton, Ohio?
Well, what year I was looking more for the year. What year did you come up with?
1904.
Well, that's the third answer we've had from even internally here. My producer actually did the lookup, and we're going to go with his answer. You're about 5 years off.
Oh,
what did you say, 1904? Yeah, you're 5 years off.
Yeah, it was 1904, I thought. But,
yeah, you're 5 years off.
Oh, well.
And you know what? And we may, here's the other thing. You may be right. Matt may be right. I might have been right, because so far we've had 3 different answers, and I wasn't there, so who knows?
Yeah, well, it was with a guy. It was Harry Myers, who probably told you, and he was going 12 miles an hour on West 3rd Street.
So the one we have was actually a car that wasn't even motorized yet. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was motorized, not enginized.
Huh.
There's a little hint for everybody listening.
Wow.
It had a motor in it, not an engine.
I see. I'll be darned.
All right.
Was the guy steamed when he got that ticket?
I don't know. That's it. But I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought, wow, I didn't know we can go back that far and find that. But
there's one that's I'm going to give you a hint. We're earlier than what you just mentioned.
I'll be darned. Okay.
So, yeah, good stuff. Steve, appreciate the phone call. Line open, 303-477-5600. Let us know when the first speeding ticket was issued, or give us your favorite speeding ticket story. I'm not sure anybody can top Leon for getting one at his desk. That one's probably going to take the
pretty
cake.
interesting one.
That's very interesting. Let's go to Eric, who's next in Greeley. Eric, what's going on today?
Hey, I just wanted to thank you on that gear and pinion advice last week. I found my problem.
What was it?
Well, it came with the bearings pressed on the carrier.
Yes.
They weren't on all the way.
Ah, so they loosened up when you got everything in then.
Well, they tightened up real quick.
Yeah.
So the original shims did fit, and it works perfectly.
Okay, there you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I'm glad it worked out, and I remember the phone call we had, and it's hard, as you can tell over the phone, radio, etc., to explain how to do some of those mechanical things. But I hope I gave you enough advice where it worked. Sounds like it did.
Right to it. Appreciate it. Thanks.
You're very welcome, Eric. Thanks for calling back in and letting us know that. We always like to hear when we've actually made a difference. Kurt, that's kind of fun.
That's great.
So, yeah, we appreciate that. 303-477-5600. One line open. The guys are getting things queued up right now as we speak. Call us, and we'll get you right on air. Larry is up next. Larry, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, I've got a question about some Devo 400 motor oil.
Okay. Devo, D-E-V-O?
Pardon me?
It's called D-E-V-O. Is am I spelling that correctly?
No, D-E-L-O.
Oh, Dello. Dello. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, 400 XL.
Okay.
Several gallons of it. And I'm going on site. It's primarily a diesel oil, right?
Yes, that's correct. Dello is Chevron's brand of diesel oil. That's
right. I've gone online to Chevron and say it's also suitable for spark ignition.
In some cases, it could be. You got to make sure that you're meeting all the specs of the engine that you're putting it into.
Okay, it's for an O2 Sport Track with 60,000 miles on it.
Okay, and what's your what's the designations on the Dello? In other words, what are all the specs on the oil? It should be printed somewhere on the oil can itself.
The CJ4 is the only spec I could see on it.
And CJ4 is going to be diesel.
That's diesel.
Right.
I would not run that in that car.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I would not. And
Okay.
oil is cheap enough that it's just not worth the cost of what an engine is to worry about the
What car do you have?
O2 Sport Track.
O2.
Which is what?
That's a Ford.
It's a Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fords were very finicky about the oil they ran in them.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying I would not run that Dello 1540 weight oil, because I'd have to go in and look inside my database. But I'm guessing that Sport Track's calling for either a 530 or a 1030 oil.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, I'll have to donate it to a worthy cause.
Yeah, that, or we got a lot of listeners that are running older engines. I mean, if you find somebody that's got an older vehicle with an older engine, they could definitely run that oil. A lot of the fleet shops could put that in their diesels and use it, and don't just let it go to waste. Let somebody use that can put it to good use.
No, I wouldn't pour it down a toilet or anything.
Yeah, no, or even burning it in waste oil. It's too good for even that. It needs to be used in an engine.
No, it's brand new, so I'll give it to somebody.
Awesome, Larry. Appreciate that.
See ya.
Thank you for calling in. And that's those are great questions, by the way. We appreciate that. And I would not run that oil in that particular engine. It's just me personally, I wouldn't do it.
That's way.
I just wouldn't do it. Even though it says it can be run in spark ignition, I would not do that. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. We've got Paul and Parker with another speeding ticket comment. Welcome, Paul.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment on speeding. People can look this up if they want. It's Colorado Revised Statute 424-1101. I remember reading this years ago, so it might be a little different now, but it said something in there about if you're actually cited for doing 25 miles over this posted speed limit, that actually becomes a misdemeanor now. Not just a civil matter.
Okay.
Yeah, you can look it up.
What's the number again?
It's 424-1101, and if I remember, it was like the last paragraph at the end about the being a misdemeanor.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll look that up, and that you're very welcome.
And I think that's why sometimes when the cops pull you over, they're giving you a break, and they'll make it like 23 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's something to think about.
In other words, they're actually being a little nicer to you than what you might think they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, because
But look it up, because
I
it
will.
might be different now. I remember reading it. It was years ago when I was fighting a traffic ticket.
No, we'll do that. We're coming up on a break right
Okay.
now. In fact, Paul will actually, Kurt and I together, we'll look that up. We got a couple of minutes of break time. We're going to do that right now. We'll look that up, and we'll come
Okay.
back and see if that's actually verifiable. So appreciate the
enough.
phone call. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. What's your favorite speeding ticket story? And or when was the first speeding ticket issued? We've had one answer. It was close. Not the answer we were looking for. Not that it was the wrong answer, but not the answer we're looking for. 303-477-5600. We'll be back right after these messages. John Rush, Kurt Anderson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment, or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
Worn out shocks and struts make your car handle like a banana boat being towed by a super tanker. Fix that pavement pontoon now and get 4 qualifying Napa or Rancho shocks and struts for the price of 3 with a mail-in rebate offer. So stop sloshing around and conquer the job with Napa Know-How. Mail-in rebate offer for Visa prepaid card in the amount of the lowest cost unit at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 10/31/14.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than, if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
All right, give us a call, 303-477-5600. Drive Radio, John Rush, Kurt Anderson, AM 560. We've got a couple lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. And a recap on Paul's comments. The last paragraph, he is correct. It does say that 24 miles an hour or under normal driving conditions, and I'll explain that in a second, does result in just a traffic infraction. If it's over the 25, then it is a misdemeanor, unless you're speeding above the 75-mile-an-hour speed limit. So if you're out on I-25 and you're running up to Fort Collins and you get pulled over at 85 in a 75, even though you're 10 over, you're going to get a misdemeanor ticket. That's the way that works. So he is 100% correct. So, Paul, thank you for that tip. That's actually worthwhile mentioning. So thank you. Dotson is next. And Parker, welcome. What's going on today?
Nothing too much. You were just talking about speeding tickets.
Yes, we are.
I heard the gentleman that got 17 of them. Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, all in one stop.
One stop. Well, I only got one ticket, but it was for 48 points.
What? Wow. 48 points?
48 points.
Good night.
I was caught doing 55, I think, on Broadway, right by I-25. I don't recall. It's been a while. This is way back in the early 70s. I was doing 55 on Broadway. Okay. I ran two lights, red lights. Then I got on the highway, and the cop. This is when the speed limit was 55.
Right.
Yeah. The cop could only do 110, and he didn't know what I was doing because I went off and left it.
Oh wow.
He caught me when I slowed down to do the speed limit.
Wow.
And I don't even remember I just remember it was 48 points.
You just remember you don't even remember what all the infractions were. It was just 48 points.
I never even got through all of them. I just went, yeah, it's 48 points. I'm in trouble.
So how'd you get out of that, or did you?
I threw myself on the mercy of the court. I was a college student, dead broke. The judge asked me how I was going to pay for my attorney, who fortunately knew the DA and the judge. And I said, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay my attorney because I don't have any money. So he suspended everything but 8 points and made me do 3 hours of class and said he didn't want to ever see me again. And I said, you don't need to worry about it, sir.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
That was the day I grew up.
Good. Yeah, those are good stories. Yeah, and most of us have one of those at one point in time. So, yep, good story.
Stupid young.
Yep, that's all right. Good stories.
Oh, did I mention the alcohol? Oh, yes. There was a little bit of alcohol involved too. So
it's a bad day.
Sounds like you got off pretty lucky there.
Yeah, I think you should count your blessings. You did really well.
Yes. Have a good day.
Hey,
gentlemen.
thanks a lot for the phone call. We appreciate it very much. 303-477-5600. I wonder if there's any stats, Kurt and the guys, on do women get less speeding tickets than men? If anybody out there wants to look that up and let us know, I'd like to know that answer. Do women in general get less speeding tickets than men? In other words, do men get more speeding tickets than women? Not picking on the men, just asking a question.
That brings up the question of, do men speed more than women?
Or do women just get out of them more?
Yeah.
I know in the case of my wife, I'm not going there. I'll keep moving on. 303-477-5600. Let's go to Joe in Northglenn, who is up next. Joe, welcome. What's going on today?
Good morning. Glad to hear you guys are doing well, and I hope everybody is well.
We are.
I'm going to make this short. It's a reverse speeding ticket story. This was in the mid-'70s, I think, 1975. I was a violation magnet at that point.
Okay.
I got 2-point tickets, 1-point tickets, Anyway, I had to drive a friend of mine back to Des Moines and on the weekend. And I was coming back, and this was Monday morning, about 1:15. And I had a very capable car of doing this. And the old ADS, I don't know if you remember that or not, nobody's on the road, no lights. I had excellent lighting on the vehicle itself. And I usually don't go this fast, but I had to get back because I had to get to work that morning.
Okay.
And I'm zooming along. Nobody's on the road except me. Plenty of light, like I said. And I looked at the speedometer every once in a while. I was hovering around 120, 125, somewhere thereabouts. As I'm coming down that big ravine between the 2 lanes of traffic, I see some red lights. And I start to slow down, and sure enough, I pass the state trooper.
Oh, boy.
And I'm looking at my rearview mirror, and sure enough, he pulls out, and he comes after me, turns on his lights, and pulls me over. Comes over, and he says, can I see your license registration? Give it to him. He says, I clocked you at 118.
What were you in? What kind of car?
I'm sorry?
What kind of car?
Tell you the truth, it was one of my favorites. I'm sorry if I got rid of it. It was a 1968 Jaguar XK150S.
Okay. Oh, nice.
That's the engine that into the XK before the XK came out.
Yep.
Okay, long story short, like I said, it was a very capable car at doing it. But the point of the matter was, I just gave my license. Do me a favor. I told the officer, he says, what's that? He said, just take the license. He says, what do you mean just take the license? I just take it and, take my keys. He says, what's the matter with you? I said, I got 9 points on there. I said, this is going to kill me. Let's stop. Why should we go through, paperwork and everything? I take the license, I'll get home somewhere or another. He looks at me, talks to me a little bit. This guy wrote me out a warning.
Really?
He wrote me out a warning. I mean, he had me dead to rights. I didn't defend myself in any way. The only thing I did say, which he kind of got a chuckle out of, I said, 118. I said, these damn English cars are never accurate. I kind of got a chuckle out of that.
That was in Wyoming?
No, this was in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Really?
All right.
This was on ADS. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know what they call it now, but it was ADS at the time. And again, believe me, if there was any traffic on the road, I never would have been doing that kind of speed. But
wow,
nobody out there.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. Well, that may be why he was a little more lenient.
Well, probably. But he even admitted to me, he says, his son just got a ticket in one of those reduction speed zones.
Yeah.
Which he thought was totally unfair because he got him for 4 miles over the limit.
Right.
So he could have and it was a local PD that gave his son the ticket.
Yeah, good for you.
But, well, not good for me. I just told this guy, I said, something, you saved my life. And anything I could ever do for you. the sad part of the story, which I'm not going to go into, which happened years later, but that's besides the point to this particular trooper. But in any case, it was, believe me, it's funny. You get these, these chicken poo-poo tickets for 5 miles over, something like that. But yet this guy could have taken me away in cuffs if he wanted to.
Yep. Yeah, he could have.
And he gives me a warning.
That just goes to show you some of those guys still have heart.
Yeah, well, not only that, but he was looking at the car. He knew it was a car capable of, being on the road at that speed.
Right.
But anything can happen, of course. In any case, listen, let me not keep you guys. Just let me yell out. Just keep listening to these guys, please. Keep listening. Keep them on the air. It's very important.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that very much. Thanks for all your support. Joe's a good, faithful listener, and appreciate him calling in. He doesn't call in very often, but when he does, he's always got kind things to say, and I appreciate him very much calling in and giving us the kudos that he does. And, we do appreciate it. It's guys like Kurt and the rest of the guys in the group that make this thing happen, all of our sponsors, Napa Auto Parts, etc. We appreciate them actually keeping us on air. But really, you all out there in radio land, you're the ones that keep us on air, because you're the ones that go in, you spend money at places like Larry's and Kurt's and Extreme, and I can go down the list of all the shops that we've got. It's because of you guys spending money at our facilities that keeps us on air.
Yeah.
That's really the bottom line. If it wasn't for that, we would not be here. So, yes, thank you very much for doing that. I know Kurt thanks you. I can speak for him, but I know that he appreciates that very much. Here's something else we appreciate. When you go in and you are a radio show listener, tell them.
Oh, yes, I love hearing that.
Yes, all these guys do. They, it's not because you're going to get any, those of you that don't listen to the radio, of course, you're not going to hear me, but, if you're not a radio show listener and you walk in, are you going to get treated any differently? No. But when you walk in as a listener, there's a connection. You've already got this built-in, hey, I'm a listener. I hear this. I hear that. You've already built this connection with the shop owner, the service advisors, etc. It just makes things go that much easier. Right, Kurt?
Absolutely.
I don't know any other way to explain it. There's an automatic, instantaneous, there's a connection. And when there's a connection, things go better.
Yeah.
And
it's nice to know that, for us doing this, there is a cost involved, and that I'm getting something from what I'm putting into
exactly
it.
Right. No, there's a return on investment.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't do it as a business owner if there wasn't.
Right.
It's exactly right. So, no, Kurt's point is 100% correct. We want everybody, all of our sponsors, to know there is a return on the investment they're making, and that all comes from you guys. We appreciate that very much. Brad in Colorado Springs, what's your speeding ticket comment?
Well, it's when you're young and dumb, the things you do. I lived in Rawlins, Wyoming, a small town, and we just had racing almost every night, and cops would somewhat allow it. And I had 2 jobs, so I went to Denver to buy a 66 Corvette, but I got talked into just this little motor car called a Z28, a 69 Z28 Camaro.
Yeah, little motor car, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody laughed at it.
Yeah,
But
little 302.
They didn't laugh for too long.
No, they didn't.
And my arch enemy, he was a couple years older than me. He had a judge, a 69 judge. And so we bet $100 on a race. And there was a girl involved, and, things went south. But we had this race set up and I went all over town, that day, and people are going, oh, I'm going to make it to the race. What about the race? I said, geez, everybody and their brother knows about this. So we changed the location, because we used to have a real safe location. But we thought, well, let's change this location of this dinky little road. And so I get out there, and it's a dark winter night, and somebody's already put the finish line in and the start line with paint. There's cars lined up on either side.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is
full bore. This is a full bore production now.
Yeah, I'm going, this isn't going to be good. So it's $100 on best 2 out of 3. And so I even missed the first race was no problem. I even missed third gear and still beat him. And so in the middle of the second race, we're about side by side, and over the top of the hill comes 2 cop cars using both lanes heading right toward us.
Oh, boy.
So we go off the side of the road. 2 more cop cars follow. They arrested 36 people and took them all into jail, because I was the youngest one. I was 17 and a half for contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Wow.
Oh, no.
So everybody got a ticket. My parents were supposed to be there, but they went to the old location, before cell phones, I couldn't tell them it had changed.
Right.
And so I can't find them. That's the first time I've ever thrown in jail. So I'm sitting in jail, and I can't find my parents. And so that was a learning experience.
I'll bet it was.
Oh,
so what ended up happening? Did you get out of jail? I mean, I assume you got out of jail, or you wouldn't be talking to us.
Yeah,
But
after about 5 or 6 hours, and then, but back then it was they didn't display of speed or something like that.
Right.
And of course I had the headers on course.
Right.
And the loud, so there was about 6 or 7 tickets.
Wow.
But I mean, they're just taking everybody through town.
Oh man.
I mean, just a line, like everybody, all the adults, they had to pay
That's
like
funny.
a $50 ticket for contributing to the delinquency.
That's funny.
That made the front page of the paper the next day.
Oh man. Oh man. You don't want that.
No, not that way.
Nope. Hey, good story, Brad. Appreciate the phone call.
You bet.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, one line open, 303-477-5600. We come back after these messages. Steve from Evans thinks he has the right answer to our first speeding ticket. We'll get into that as soon as we come back. John Rush, Kurt Anderson from Anderson's over in the Colfax, really golden area, west of I-70 on Colfax. You can't miss it. Anderson's, and they specialize in all European. So again, typically when Kurt's on, we have all sorts of European questions, but I realize it's a really nice day. People are out doing stuff, and we've had a lot of calls on speeding tickets. But if you've got a specific question, something you've been wanting to ask for a long time on something European, by all means, call us. Kurt's got the answer. He'll help you out. And you can call Kurt during the week also. In fact, Kurt, give him your phone number.
303-278-8766.
All right, so there you go. Kurt from Anderson's. We'll be back right after these messages. Don't go away. John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
Your garage is filled with awesome things, like your collection of unused sporting goods and an odd assortment of scrap lumber. Dump it all. You'll need the room, because Napa has Mobil 1 synthetic oil for $5.99 a quart. Yep, for $5.99 a quart, you can fill your garage with Mobil 1. Now that's a good use of space. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 9/30/14.
In Boulder, at John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet 1. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. All right, we're back. Matt's got the Ken Clark punk rock music going there for me, but that's okay. It's what he likes. We'll let him play it.
Hey, I got to put a little bit of my own stuff in
I was just going to
man.
say, you're on that side. I have no control, so there you have it. 303-477. Yeah, so some guys like it. There you go. 303-477-5600. Call us as soon as somebody drops off. We'll get you right on air. Steve has been holding the longest up in Evans. Steve, welcome.
Hey, guys. Hi again.
How you doing?
I must have too much time on my hands.
That's all right. It's Saturday.
There you go. I think I got that ticket. It's kind of technical there because there's a fine line there where there's a paper ticket and then a physical ticket.
Okay.
It was May 20th, 1899?
Yep, that's what Matt looked up, so you're right with where he's at.
Oh, Jacob Germans was the guy's name.
Yep, 1899, which when I saw, the one I originally looked up was like 1902, and then Matt went and looked even further, and you think about that, and it's like 1899. Good night. Who was driving in 1899 to even get a ticket in the first place?
Yeah, that was my thought exactly, and I'm glad I wasn't born back then because I probably would have been hung by now.
That was definitely a different time, no doubt about it.
The speed limit was like 8 miles an hour, and this guy was doing a blistering 12.
He got a ticket.
And no, they arrested him, I guess, took him to the station.
Didn't they run him down on bicycles or something?
Yeah, a 26-year-old, I believe, a policeman, I guess you called him back then.
Yeah.
And they ran him down on a bicycle and took him in.
That's funny. And
that was an electric car too, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, electric car. Yeah. No, things were. Our world was, it's evolving a lot today with the technology.
Oh,
but think about where those folks were back then, where they had just gotten electricity.
Uh-huh.
They now had vehicles they were starting to drive. The horse and buggy were starting to become a thing of the past. I mean, all sorts of things going on in history then, and that part would have been somewhat exciting to live through, just to watch those real significant changes.
No doubt. But technically, the first paper ticket, according to what I read, was Harry Myers back in 1904.
That could be, and you could very well be right in that.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. But it's fun looking that up.
It is. It is. It's an interesting topic.
It is.
Hey, appreciate you calling in, Steve.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for that. We appreciate it. So we got the correct answer, $18.99 in an electric car. One line open, 303-477-5600. Let's go to Tom, who's got a question on Subaru brakes. Tom, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, my daughter needs brakes, and she's got a 2007 Subaru Outback.
Okay.
So I went to the library, and I pulled Chilton's manual, and I bought the brakes, and she also needs the rotors.
Okay.
And in Chilton's manual, it doesn't say anything about compressing the piston inside the caliper. So these are a little different than any I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how it works and what you do to, if there's any special tricks to it.
A lot of the Asian cars screw in.
Oh, so they don't have a piston like
an American car where you just push it in.
Oh,
or even
okay.
some
Well,
of the
that might make
European
it
cars, etc. A lot of the Asian cars you have to turn in, and I don't know that for positive. I'm just telling you what from experience what some of those cars have. Kurt can look it up here real quick, and we can tell you. But
yeah, I'll see if I can look it up. I mean, calipers have pistons. That's just kind of the way things work. So you're going to have to compress them one way or another. Some you may be able to compress, even with a pair of pliers, making sure you press the piston in parallel to the bore. In other words, don't cock it over where it sticks. On a lot of the rear brakes and I don't know about Subaru, but a lot of the rear brakes, if they're using the actual brakes also for the parking brake, you have to have a special tool that pushes and also screws the caliper piston in. So you may have to get a tool to do that. I don't know if Subaru is like that or not, but a lot of what I see does. So the rear brakes do present somewhat of a challenge, or can.
And some of that, by the way, is not always listed in the Chilton's manual either. They're not real good about that.
Well, and that's just kind of one of those things that may be so common it's not going to be mentioned.
Right.
Okay.
In there.
Well, I got it, and it doesn't look too bad, and I've probably done 20 or 30 ever since we got disc brakes, whenever that was in the 70s. So, but it just struck me as strange that I've always had either General Motors or Ford cars. I've never had a Subaru.
Well, it's brakes aren't going to really change much between makes.
Well, I will pull it out and do it. Now, the other thing that struck me strange is they have two 8mm holes that are tapped in that rotor, and it said to get 2 8mm.
Yeah, to pull the rotor off, yes. Yeah.
Which is something I've never encountered before either.
No, that's a Japanese. In fact, some of the European cars do the same thing. They get the brake rotors on so tightly that you actually use a screw to actually screw and kind of press back off the rotor from the hub is why they do that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what happens there a lot. And we're trying to figure out exactly, the situation on your caliper. We may have to wait till we get to the top of the hour to look that up. But keep listening. If we find the answer to it, we'll give it to you.
Okay, sounds good.
You're very
thank
welcome.
you.
Appreciate the phone call. Let's go to Alex, who is next. Has a question on VIN verification. Alex, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, I need to get a VIN verification, and I was wondering if anyone was open on the weekends to do that kind of thing.
You can go to either of the, and I don't think Air Care Colorado is open on Saturdays, are they?
No.
Aren't they?
I don't think so. Okay. I'd have to look it up and see. I don't believe they are. They can do it. A dealership can also do it.
We just got it from
auto
Larry. I
dealership.
think they're
Okay.
open till noon. That's about it.
Okay, so Matt just looked up. Air Care Colorado is open till noon is all, but the car dealers can also do it. So if you went by one of the new used car dealers, they can also do a VIN verification for you also.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The other thing. Let's see, Alex, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can do it too. Being a diesel emission test station, I can also do VIN verifications. We're not open on the weekends, but
do it during the week.
Yeah, do it during the week. If you're in Golden, give me a call, stop by.
Yep.
Takes,
he could do it Monday or something for you. Doesn't take very long.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes.
Yep.
Sweet.
You just need that for your license plates and such, correct?
Yeah, I bought an old trailer, and I'm taking it cross country in a couple of days, and I didn't have the proper documentation to get my license plate at
Got
the.
it.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Well, so which means you can't go to DMV until, or not DMV, your county clerk. You can't do that till Monday anyway. So yeah, swing by and talk to Kurt first thing on Monday morning. He can get that done for you, and you could run in and get your stuff going, and you'd be all set that way.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
You're very welcome,
sure.
Alex. And real quick, Kurt, give him your phone number so everybody knows what that is.
303-278-8766.
Awesome. All right, let's go to Paul. He'll be our last caller for this second hour of Drive Radio, and we got lines open, 303-477-5600. Paul, what's going on with your Grand Cherokee?
Well, this is odd because it only shows up when it's cool, and it occurred just yesterday.
Okay.
I was driving around, and as soon as the engine gets warmed up and it's ready to produce enough warm coolant to heat the car, or the interior of the car, I get a little bit of vapor that comes up through the defroster vent.
Okay.
But I'm not losing any coolant. I haven't had to add coolant for probably a year.
Okay.
It's not dripping into the the container or the box.
Right. Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. So but you do have, now does it smell sweet, or do you have any smell with it at all, or is it strictly just vapor coming out?
Yeah, it's just vapor.
Just
it doesn't
vapor.
have any scent.
Okay.
But it does leave a film on the windows.
Okay.
And I can't
You probably have
figure
a
out-
heater core that's just starting
sounds
to
like a
leak.
heater core.
Yep.
There's
So
a test.
it's
There's a
just
test you
starting.
can do for that.
Go ahead, Kurt.
It may sound kind of strange, but just kind of swipe that film with your finger and just put your tongue on it and see what it tastes like. If it's sweet, that's coolant.
Yep. That's the best way to test it. So yeah, to Kurt's point, just rub your finger across the windshield, get that film, and do it over on that right-hand side where it's closer to the box, to the vent coming out, and then just taste it. And if it tastes sweet, it's coolant. If it's not, if it just tastes like water, then you've got steam coming up, and that's a whole other issue.
Okay, because I took a white gun cleaning patch.
Okay.
You can pull the vent cover open. It just pops right out. And you can wipe the inside of the actual vent ports, the ports coming up from the
right
coolant box or
Right.
the heater box.
Any green or anything on those at all, or does it look clean?
Yes, they're other than dirt.
Well, that kind of
there's no-
sounds to me
there's
like
no green
maybe the
stain.
heater box drain.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you may have the actual coolant, or not coolant, the evaporator box is basically plugged, the vent that would actually drain the water out of that, because when you're using defrosters or the air conditioner, you're going to generate some condensation, and that needs to drain out. If not, it's going to hang around in there, and it will create a steam.
Okay, so
you
check
want to
that
make sure
first,
that
and then
make sure
double
that's
check
cleaned up. And I'm sorry, we're up against a hard break, Paul. But yeah, go ahead and check that. Make sure that box. There's a tube typically that comes down out towards the passenger front of the vehicle, out by the wheel well area there. Make sure that that's good and clean and open, and that can drain out possibly. Ryan in Highlands Ranch, you've got a question on car wax. We'll get to you just as soon as we come back from this news break. Do not go away. We will return right after this. John Rush, Kurt Anderson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
There's all the ribbons in your hair, and I don't mind you coming in, wasting all my time.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Have a great weekend, rest up, and then get ready for battle. Ahead on the KLZ Morning Show, we'll update on the new Adams County election court fight with Stan Martin. Randall O'Toole on the fight over your rights to your land and your water. The mastermind behind the defeat of Eric Cantor, Christopher Doss, John Hayward from Human Events, Traffic and Weather with Zach, your calls, and so much more. Why would you listen to any other morning show? It's Wake Up with Randy Corcoran, Monday through Friday, 5 to 8 on KLZ 560.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. The Obama administration sending a mixed message to Americans, the world, and the ISIS terrorists.
Counterterrorism operations can take a long time. They go on. I think war is the wrong reference term.
Secretary of State John Kerry speaking to ABC News. Then on Friday, White House spokesperson Josh Earnest.
The United States is at war with ISIL in the same way that we are at war with Al-Qaeda and its Al-Qaeda affiliates all around the globe.
Former Republican Governor Mike Huckabee with reaction.
It truly does rise to the level of a clear and present danger, and we've got a president going to the dictionary to see if he can find a better word for war.
Speaking on Fox News, Huckabee saying the president will have a difficult time putting together a coalition to fight ISIS.
Nobody trusts us. Nobody trusts us because right now with the U.S., our word is dirt, and everybody knows it. Whatever we say, nobody believes that we're going to stand by it.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or, if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
Randy Corcoran at 5, Laura Ingram at 8, Monday morning on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter of a mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
Do appreciate it very much. 303-477-5600 is our number. We got the answer to when the first traffic ticket, can't talk. Speeding ticket, not traffic ticket. Speeding ticket was issued. That was back in 1899. But hey, tell us your worst speeding ticket story if you'd like. 303-477-5600, or ask us any question. We're here to ask. I should have said that early on, but it's been a great topic and we've had a lot of fun. And some of you have even made mention that hey, sometimes it's nice to get out of the norm of what's going on, and that's okay too. So no big deal. 303-477-5600, and yeah, we've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun, taking a lot of calls. It just shows that we do have a ton of listeners, and I appreciate all of you that call and listen in and listen to all the stuff we do. But, yeah, we'll answer any question. 303-477-5600. Ryan is up next. Ryan, what's your question on car wax?
Well, hello, John. How you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, great job on the show as always. And
thank you.
Your week segment as well. The what is it called? The
Rush to Reason.
Rush to Reason, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it lately, but I'm getting back into town, so I'm looking forward to
Thank you.
It again.
Appreciate that.
Quick question regarding auto wax. How often do you recommend having the vehicle waxed a year, and does it make any difference with the type of wax, or going through the car washes, I should say, with the wax that they put on there? Does that count as...
No.
No, okay.
It does not, and the reason why I say that is because the car washes typically have a more caustic soap. Wow. So what you're getting in the wash versus what you're getting back with a little bit of the wax is probably a break even when it's all said and done. So if you typically wax, if you can do it, and not everybody does, it's nice if you can wax quarterly.
Okay.
Most don't have time to do that. So if you can at least get a couple times a year, and here's the advantage of waxing, and most people probably don't ever really think about this. There's more benefits than just the fact that your paint will last longer. Now, with the advent of clear coat paint and all of the newness that we have in our paint technology, etc., paint is better today than it's ever been in history. And I'll admit that. It is very, very good. To the point where you can probably not wax the car and probably still see that paint look good 5 years from now. And I'll admit it, they hold up very, very well. The advantages of the wax are twofold. One, it will still make that paint last longer on down the road, and it protects the paint itself. Two, it makes the car easier to wash. The biggest reason I wax anymore isn't just to keep the paint looking good, but it makes the car much easier to keep clean when you do go to wash it yourself, go to the car wash, etc. The thing about the car washes, again, that you have to be careful of is the soap that they use. Not all of them, but the majority of the car washes, especially the ones that are at service stations. I'm not picking on them, but this is just a simple fact. The touchless car washes especially use more of a caustic soap, and they have to, because there's nothing to get the dirt off in a rubbing action, so they've got to rely on soap to get off the dirt. They're using high pressure and a really caustic soap to get the dirt off versus the soft touch washes, or if you're at home doing it with a wash mitt, you're able to take that dirt off with a wash mitt or by touching it.
Okay. Awesome. I really appreciate that answer. It's helped me out very much. I hope you gentlemen are able to get out there and enjoy the beautiful day.
We will do it. Ryan, thanks so much for the phone call. And in fact, I should probably, Larry, remind me, next week, we're at that time of the year. I ought to just do next week's show on waxing, getting things ready to go for winter, et cetera. We haven't done a show like that in probably a year. Let's just cover that. That's a great topic. I'll do that next week. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. John in Castle Rock is next. John, what's going on today?
Well, let me get you off speakerphone here.
Okay, no problem.
There we go. Yeah, I picked up my wife a little 04 Wrangler Jeep.
Okay.
And it's got the fuel-injected four-cylinder, and I'm planning on putting an air system on it.
Okay.
But it's sit for a year. It's got 68,000 miles, and I told her it wasn't no speed racer, but
Nope.
She was going up Surrey Ridge Hill and says, I could only get 55 out of it. And I says, well, let me call the boys today, and you've got a European mechanic that works on small motors. And a Jeep kind of is a Peugeot motor, at least they used to be.
Yeah, here's the how should I say this? There's not a lot you're going to do.
Not really.
There are some guys that make some superchargers and some other things for the four cylinders, and you can spend a lot of money, but at the end of the day, you still have a four cylinder with a really heavy vehicle. A Jeep weighs 4,500 pounds roughly, so you're really heavy. I mean, that's a full frame on body vehicle, which everybody tends to forget. Is it a two-door or a four-door, by the way?
Well, it's a little two-door
Okay.
one, and it's got a rag top. It's not that.
Okay,
I mean,
so it's
you
not
could- you
quite
could
as, it's
almost
still
pick
in
it
the
up with
3,800 pound range though, so they're still heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot you're going to do. There's not anything significant that you're going to do with that, short of supercharge. Somehow boosting it.
Yeah, you got to force more air in. And I don't want to sound like a naysayer, but there's a couple of things you can do. The easiest things, of course, are yes, you can do a cold air intake. Yes, you can change some exhaust around, and those things would help. Gearing on a four-cylinder is probably as important as anything else. And what I mean by that is if you can put a 411 gear ratio in it, for example, that will help you as much as anything. It doesn't make more power in the engine. It just makes the engine and the power to the wheels more efficient.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she just drives around Castle Rock and that anyway, but because I told her, I says, you be careful on the highway because they're squirrely anyway.
They are. The two doors especially are more squirrely. You're 100% correct in that. Yep.
Oh, yeah. It's a little bitty thing, but,
Yep.
she's loving it.
Well, that's awesome.
So, and then I would go, where's a place, I want to look at off-road lights and different things like that. Is there a store in Denver?
The only store that we have in our group, and honestly, I don't know the Denver guys as well as I used to. Our Boulder store up in Boulder, so John's 4x4 in Boulder, they're your closest. Yeah. They can handle any and all and have a lot of it in stock and have guys there that know about it and what works and doesn't work. And my recommendation would be call those guys, set a time where you can talk to somebody, take the drive up there. It's only an hour drive, and go spend some time and let them handle it.
Well, yeah, so you could drive clear over the mountain. I'd drive up there and then go on over to the national park.
There you go.
But it's closed.
There you go.
Okay, cool. I have one more quick question.
Sure, no, go ahead. You're fine, John.
The hood is weather checked.
Okay.
Where it's cracked.
Yes.
Anything I can do besides repaint it?
No, nothing you can do besides repaint. Once weather checking is there, it doesn't matter what infomercial you watch. There's nothing. There's not a product made that's going to fix that crazing or the weather checking that's in the paint. It just is what it is.
Okay. Well, I did use one thing for the plastic, and it turned it back to being black that I was watching as seen on TV.
Yeah, no, and that stuff works good. Yeah, no, I've used that too. It's forever. In fact, there's other products out there that are like that, by the way, that do a very good job. But on the paint itself, nothing you can do. It is what it is.
Okay, well, I listen to you guys every Saturday and Sunday because I work 7 days a week, so
well,
I appreciate your show.
We
and
sure
you guys
appreciate
have a
you
great
listening.
Weekend.
No, thank you very much, John. Thanks for listening, and yeah, tell your wife have fun with that Wrangler. Go see the guys up at John's 4x4 in Boulder, and they will definitely take care of you. We got one line open, 303-477-5600. Mickey, you've got some comments. What's going on today?
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing great.
Good.
I first ran into that Subaru caliper not wanting to go, piston not going back into the caliper a long time ago in the 80s.
So what's the answer?
The answer was to get a Haynes manual. It walks you through it.
Good answer.
Chilton's is too generic.
Yeah, and I was afraid of that, and I would agree with you. You're right on the money. The Chiltons are very, very generic. And by the way, and this is for all of you guys listening, you can actually go to Mitchell's website. So Mitchell One, which is the company that we use a lot for the resource that are inside of our shops, etc. You can pay a nominal subscription fee for a day, a month, however you want to do that. It's less money than what you'll actually pay for the manual. Granted, you have the manual in your hand. You don't, but the other plus side to using the Mitchell side is it's all OEM. Well, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of it's OEM information. Mm-hmm. So you're not relying on a third party.
Yeah, All Data has that too. I think All Data DIY maybe.
Yep, I think that's right.
Yeah.
So either one of those, you can get a daily subscription to whatever vehicle you're working on, and it's a big help.
Yep.
Yep. The thing with the Haynes manuals is that they take an old beat up, worn out one, and so the pictures look like your car.
Yes.
Anyway, they clock in clockwise. They got two little holes in them, and
yes.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I thought you had to. I was pretty sure you had to spin them. I couldn't remember which way, but I figured they had to be spun in.
So you'll need a tool. There's does Napa rent those out?
Or sell them, either one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, they're not that expensive.
No, they're not. You can just buy them at Napa.
Yeah, I just took 2 screwdrivers and a pair of pliers.
You can do that too.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, the other one was, remember old cars when you used to turn on the heater and you'd get that fog on your windshield because it didn't pull in outside air?
That's right.
Maybe since '85 they've been using a system where it cycles the air conditioner
right
to take the moisture out. Maybe
that's right.
The conditioner ain't working.
That could very well be. That's it. You could be plugged, could be AC not working, could very well be. You're very right. Yep.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
No, good suggestions, Mickey. Appreciate that very much.
Have a good day.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. We got one line open, 303-477-5600. Stephen Erie's got some comments on our ticket issue, subject, I should say, and Peter in Littleton has a question on a Subaru timing belt. We'll take both of those when we come back. Next here on Drive Radio, John Rush, Kurt Anderson, KLZ 560. Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer.
It's expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's Gino'sAutoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N. The filter that helps your car run better.
Could you imagine?
All right, and we're back. And Kurt and I were just talking through the break how things change. We were talking about tapered roller bearings and things like that, where you used to pack wheel bearings on cars and do all sorts of things, and rarely now, unless you have an old car, do you do that.
Yeah, and adjust them and
Yep. And the fact that it's just, unless you grew up around some of that, you just wouldn't know how to do that, and just the day and age of having to stop and pack wheel bearings, you used to have to do that, in our business, on the four-wheel drives back in the day, you'd pack wheel bearings, about every other year and make sure things were in good shape and make sure the hubs were working right and all those things. And that stuff is gone. And, things change, and that's good. That's not a bad thing. I was going to talk sometime today about new car technologies. I don't think I'll get to that. I'll push that off to another day. We will talk about some of the emission stuff. I do want to talk about that. We'll come back at 12:30, and we do that first little segment there. I will talk about that right at the 12:30 mark, so don't go away. But let's go back to our callers. Steve in Erie is up next. Steve, welcome.
Hey, how's it going, John?
Doing great.
Hey, I've got a quick question for you about dirt roads.
Sure.
I've got about a 26-mile commute each way. I can go 13 miles of that on dirt roads. I'm driving a 2000 Nissan with about 190,000 miles. I could also go paved roads. How much? I enjoy the dirt roads just for the relaxation of it.
Right.
Am I basically beating my car or my truck to death doing that?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
They're hard. They're just. Kurt and I are, sitting here smiling at each other because we know. You could blindfold me. Walk me underneath, two cars side by side, one driven on dirt roads, one not driven on dirt roads, both of them washed, clean, totally, blindfold me, not tell me what they are, go put me under the undercarriage, and I could tell you from, within 5 seconds which one is driven on dirt roads and which one's not.
Okay.
And I'm just being as honest as I can be. Is it detrimental to it? No. Does it shorten the lifespan of the vehicle? Most definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I've got a speeding story for you that's the best speeding story for me and the worst speeding story.
Let's hear it.
All right, so I'm back in my days in college. I'm going to college in a small town. I've got a crotch rocket, Suzuki GSXR 750.
Oh, boy.
I'm doing 110 and 35 mile an hour on a straightaway. I go flying past a driveway where a police officer is sitting. He jumps up, misses me with his radar gun because I'm going too fast, catches me with his gun as I'm slowing down to drop into a turn. I just keep going. Don't know if he's after me or not. I get to the school. I park it. I go into class. I look out. He's standing out at my motorcycle.
Oh, no.
I look at my teacher. I'm like, I'm probably going to jail. Got up, walked out of the class. He gives me a ticket. I show up for court. Now imagine those folding tables set up as a U. I'm on one side, the judge is in the middle, the officer's on the other side. It's a small town, go back to Dukes of Hazzard days kind of courtroom.
Right.
And the judge goes, all right, so we got you doing 79 and a 35. I'm like, yes, sir. He goes, do you know he could throw you in jail for this? Yes, sir. And he looks at the officer and he goes, you're not pressing reckless driving? And the officer goes, no, sir. He was in control of his vehicle. And he goes, you're not pressing attempting to elude. No, sir. He's probably stopped by the time I got my lights on. So all you're pressing is 75 or 79 and a 35. Yes, sir. And he drops his glasses down on his nose, looks at the officer real hard and goes, this boy related? No, sir. And he looks at his book and he goes, I don't even have this on my list. Give him the maximum.
That's
and
funny.
I'm sitting there going, oh, crap.
What's the maximum? Yeah.
$60.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
That is the fastest check I have ever written
in
my life.
You bet. Yeah. That's a good story. What town was that in?
It's called Walker County, Georgia.
Walker County,
Walker
Georgia.
County, Tennessee.
Okay, Walker
right
County,
on
Tennessee. Okay.
Lookout Mountain.
Okay.
Lookout Mountain, Tennessee.
All right.
So,
great story.
But anyway,
yeah, that's a good
guys.
story, Steve. No, appreciate the phone call. These have been fun. I've really enjoyed them, and I hope everybody listening has. We don't do that a lot. I know we kind of took a break out of our our normal routine. Normally we answer about 35 car questions on a Saturday. We'll do about half as many today because of all the speeding ticket comments we've had, but I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. It's kind of a break of what we normally do, and some of you have even commented that you've enjoyed it, so I hope you do. That's why we're here. It's, yeah, we are here to our sign just fell down. No big deal. Yeah, big gust just came through the studio here. No, we are here to educate and to entertain and to have fun and to make sure you guys have fun too. Yes, I know the bottom line is, yes, we want to make sure we take care of you, getting your cars fixed, handled, all of that, but we also want to make sure you guys are having fun and enjoying what we do here each and every Saturday. So 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right in. We got one line open. Peter, you're up next. What's going on with your Subaru?
Well, I've got a 1999 Subaru Legacy Outback, and it's coming right up on about 210,000 miles. And we've replaced the timing belt once so far, so it's about time to do it again.
Yep.
And my concern is the car's got so many miles on it, and the cost of doing that and doing, all the other bearings inside of there and tensors and so forth.
Right.
We're getting prices back in, $600, $800 to do it. And the thought is, what happens if we just ignore that and let it fail? Is it, what's you guys?
Well, I think the better question would be, what's the rest of the condition of the vehicle in?
It's about average for the market.
Okay.
Body's okay, interior's okay. There's nothing special about it. It's got the normal dings and so forth.
How much longer do you want to drive it?
It might go another year or two for me, and I do maybe 15,000 miles a year on it.
Then I would go ahead and spend the money, because here's the other side of the answer. I would do that because the car, even with that kind of miles, as long as it's kept up, it's running, it's in good shape, you can prove you did the timing belt on it, what you'll get out of that when you go to sell it in 2 or 3 years or trade it or whatever you're going to do will exceed what you're going to put into it for the timing belt repair.
Okay.
So it's good money spent is what I'm getting at. You'll know you've got good transportation. You can prove you did the timing belt. Keep driving it, and you also know that you won't get stuck on the side of the road by having a timing belt go bad when you least expect it.
I was going to say that, you're paying for transportation, and for a couple years that's pretty inexpensive. And the other thing is, inevitably that timing belt's going to break. Could you be in a dangerous situation if the car just quit?
You could be, and you wouldn't want to be. And I'm just one of those. I don't ever like having to worry about, am I going to start this car and not have it start, or am I going to be driving down the road and have something happen and then have to call a tow truck and go through all of that expense. And just for example, if that were to happen, let's say you get stuck in rush hour traffic, the thing quits, timing belt's out, and you now have to tow it. You don't get to pick your tow company, by the way, when that happens. Typically, it's whoever shows up first tows it. Because State Patrol wants you out of the way, or Denver cops, or whoever it is. They're going to want you out of the way as quickly as possible. Your tow bill could be $200. I'm not exaggerating. So you've just spent 2 of the $600 that you could have spent getting the timing belt done on a tow bill. The math just doesn't make sense not fixing it.
No. Well, kind of the other half of it, you make sure we understand what's going on. Meantime between failure for timing belt on that 2.5-liter engine, what do you think that actually is? Is there any way to know?
Well, and that you don't, and that's a hard one to tell. They will fail. I mean, will not run forever. We all know that. We've been in the business too long to know that and they will fail whenever you least expect it. It's never a planned failure. If you've had you're 210, you've had one done. Let's say it was done at 100K, 110K, wherever it happened to be. I don't know where that was. You're pushing it because it should have been done probably at 60 to 70K, not 100.
Oh.
So you're actually pushing it at the 210 anyways.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we had it done at about 110.
You should have had 3 done by now, actually.
Gotcha. Okay. It sounds like good preventative maintenance.
Yes, it is.
Take care of it.
And by the way, Subaru in our area, those are great cars for resale. They hold their value very well. It's a very desirable car. Subaru sells we're the second highest selling area for Subaru in the country.
Gotcha. How far do you think that engine will go?
300, easy.
Sure.
So it could easily go another 3, 4, 5 years for me.
Easy.
No problem.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, are you listening to speeding ticket stories today?
Yes, go ahead.
The only speeding ticket I've got in the last 10 years is that I have a 911 Turbo.
Okay.
And headed west out of Morrison. It's nice and wide there. Light was red in first gear. Run it through first gear. Put it in second gear. it ramps up quite a bit, and we're headed uphill. So not everything's coming out of that car quite yet.
Right.
And I look over, and there's the Morrison cap. And I say,
Oh, boy.
look at the speedometer, and I take my foot out of it and say, well, I'm not sure exactly how fast I'm going. I look up, and the sign says 45, and say, I'm probably okay. Nope, get pulled over. Motorcycle cop oogles the car for about 10 minutes, and I'm sweating bullets going, well, is this going to be a ticket? Are we going to be able to chat about this and get through it?
Right.
And he finally says, well, you're doing, whatever it was, 22 miles an hour with the speed limit. I said, but the sign says, 45. I clearly wasn't doing, 77. He said,
Right.
oh, no, that's the next one. Yours was 25.
Oh, boy.
I went, oh, man.
So, yeah.
Didn't have a radar detector in at the time, and I was going way too fast. And we'd have been going a lot faster if he hadn't been there. But, so that was just one of those. You said, I was just going to have a great time headed up the canyon. It was probably the wrong thing to do, but man, was that a fun car to drive.
Yep. So I assume you got a ticket.
I got the big fat ticket.
Yep.
He wheeled the car and enjoyed it for as long as he could, and then wrote me a ticket.
Yep. They make good revenue in Morrison off of tickets. So by the way, anybody out there driving in Morrison, watch your speed because they are known to write tickets.
He was very pleasant about it, and he was absolutely right. And I had my foot into it and was going to.
And Morrison extends a ways up 285 too.
Yes, they do.
Surprisingly, yeah.
It's good. There's a bigger territory than you think. Good point, Kurt.
Yep.
Hey, good call, Peter. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, you have a great afternoon. One line open, 303-477-5600. Ken and Andy got a coolant question and a Nissan truck front-end problem. Both you guys hang with us. We'll be back right after these messages. John Rush, your host, along with Kurt Anderson from Anderson's here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't...
You know another one that has a lot of tickets? Mountain View.
Success ratio. That's confidence for the customer.
Let's say Mountain View.
To explain the repair
I have been there. I have done. I've got that. They are horrible.
program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Call Arvada West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
There are better ways to let people know you've arrived than with those squealing brakes. That's why Napa has ProFormer brake pads for as low as $10.99. Just $10.99 to get back to what you're really known for, 80s hair metal and a killer horn. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 9/30/14.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Do you love things that require gas or diesel fuel to run? Do you need a job? Are you just looking for a change? Napa Auto Parts is looking for delivery drivers and salespeople in all locations in the Denver metro area. If you have experience in the industry, that helps, but it is not mandatory. Please go to NapaAutoJobs.com. Again, that's NapaAutoJobs.com and fill out the application. Please mention Drive Radio on that application. Napa Auto Parts, an equal opportunity employer. All right, lines are full. When somebody drops off, call us. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. All right, Ken's been holding a while. Let's get him on the horn. Ken, welcome. What's going on today?
Hi. That last guy kind of scared me about the timing chain. I don't even know, does the 03 Durango have a timing chain?
No. It's got a chain, not a belt.
And does it need to be replaced?
No. Not really. I mean, if you got 300K or so on it, yeah, maybe. But if you're, how many miles do you have on it?
I think I've got about 110.
110. And what engine's in it?
5.9.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay, good. And who speeds in Morrison? I think you have to. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's well, of course, and I think most people by now know this, but maybe some of our listeners don't. There was a big, news deal a couple of years ago where one of the news stations is out talking about how many tickets they write, and they write more tickets per capita than a lot of the other areas do, and blah blah blah, and the bottom line is it's their right, it's their town, their city, they can do whatever they want to. If they want to generate revenue by writing tickets, that's what they're going to do, and that's exactly what they do.
Well, I know that if I'm going west and I pass E470 on Hamden or 285,
Yep.
Once I go about a mile or two where it straight and starts turning, I slow way down
Yep.
because there's
Yeah.
always a cop
Yep.
there.
And that's Morrison there too, right
Yeah,
after the
that's
exit.
Morrison.
Yep.
And
yeah.
I think they either have 19 cops or 19 cars or something.
Yeah,
That's what I
they've got
read.
per capita. I think they have as high as most anybody out there does, and and I run into the same thing. I live up in the Lafayette, Louisville area. My office is up there, et cetera, and it's most of our littler towns around here. I call Louisville, the traffic Nazis. They're worse than Lafayette. I mean, those guys, they got more cars out running around, radar and taking. It's just one of those towns. You just don't. If you speed, your chances of getting a ticket are really high.
Well, anyway, I've had a few crotch rockets, and I know how tempting it is to turn the throttle on those things.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to stay under the speed limit or on it. But anyway, with regard to the 03 Durango, I looked at the indicator on the coolant, shows nothing.
Okay.
What do I put in there?
As far as what type of coolant you mean?
Yes.
That one takes just a regular old green coolant in 03.
And do I have to mix it with water or just?
Yeah, well, yeah, you want a 50-50 mix. So if you did virgin antifreeze, you'd want to dilute that half and half, still get it down to a freezing freezing point of 30 to 40 below zero, and yeah, you'd be fine with that.
Okay, and one last question. It's an 03 5.9, and I've noticed that whether the engine is cool or hot, putting it in reverse is kind of a clunk. Is that just normal?
At 110, that's probably somewhat normal, yeah.
There's kind of slop in the transmission a little bit?
Yeah.
All righty. Well, that answers all my questions.
And then
thank you very
on
much.
that one, you've got slop in differential, transfer case, and then some in the transmission itself. So yeah, when you start combining all three of those at 110, you're going to get some clunk. And just the biggest thing is make sure you don't have a U-joint or something like that that's gone out.
One last question that I remembered. I was going up a dirt hill, and I had it in overdrive off and in second gear, and the transmission went crazy. Started jerking and making all sorts of noises. Is that just something you should never do?
No, that's not normal. It shouldn't do that. You should be able to take overdrive out, put it in whatever manual gear you want, and have it act just fine. And now that you're saying that, along with your clunk, I'd probably have somebody take a look at the transmission.
I think so.
Yeah, just to make sure everything's okay.
All righty. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. All right, Kurt, let's see. I think Andy's up next.
Yeah,
Let's take
looks like
Andy.
it.
Andy, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, I have a 1994 Nissan pickup truck.
Okay.
And during the BMW Golf Championship, I volunteered, and they had us park in these real bumpy, open fields, parking lot. And since then, the front end, it just vibrates and shimmies like crazy. But the weird thing is it doesn't do it all the time. I'd be driving down the road maybe 5 or 6 miles, and the whole front end just starts shimmying. So my question is, I don't know whether have the alignment checked first or if it could be something else.
I would just have a good front end inspection done.
Yeah,
sure.
Probably knock the heck out of it.
Yeah, tire balance.
Yeah.
Alignments.
Tire balance, alignment. You could have knocked a wheel weight off. You could have
Yeah.
knocked it out of alignment. You could have done both.
Yeah,
It
'cause
could also have a tie rod end that's getting loose, or
Sure.
you've got a number of things up there. Your ball joints, etc.
Yeah. So if I take it in for a wheel alignment check, that they can check all that.
Yes, but make sure when you go in, don't just take it in for an alignment check.
Right.
Have them and do a good front end inspection. Tell them what's going on. Tell them the
Yeah.
same story you told us, and have them check everything.
Yeah, tell them why. Tell them why you're going in for alignment. As a shop, when somebody comes in for an alignment, I always try to ask, why do you think you need an alignment?
Yeah.
There's usually more that goes along with it.
Right.
Right.
An alignment may or may not solve a vibration, something that's caused by, say, tire balance. And if we
Right.
don't know that, we may just do an alignment.
That's right. And not fix the problem.
Right, and then you're upset
That's right.
because it didn't fix the problem. So, be sure they know what you're coming in for.
Right.
Larry,
why
our
would
producer,
it not
just
do it all the time, I wonder.
well, and Larry, my producer, just walked in and gave me a note too that would be worth looking at. Make sure there's no mud built up
There you
on
go.
the
Yeah,
inside of the rims, because if
Oh.
that's the case, it could throw it out of balance, and
There you go.
you may have to hit a certain speed before you really notice what
Ah.
that vibration is. So that may be a real easy thing that you can check at home.
Yeah, that sounds very good. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
You're very welcome.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Appreciate the phone call. All right, let's go to Lyle in Denver, or sorry, Littleton, who is next, and we got a line open, 303-477-5600. Lyle, what's going on?
Well, thanks, John. I'm a long-time listener, and got a quick
Appreciate
speeding ticket
that.
story for you. And this goes back ways back, but from Panhandle, Nebraska originally, and a high school buddy of mine was out on the new interstate that they'd built a couple of years earlier, and enjoying the interstate too much, probably you might say. He had his 57 Chevy. He's doing about 95 miles an hour, and Big Earl, the state patrolman that lived in our hometown, catches him, pulls him over, and Rich figures, well, he's got me dead to rights. You know, this is going to be bad.
Right.
And Big Earl walks up to the car, and he's got his ticket book open already. And Rich hadn't really planned on it, but he just kind of an icebreaker. He thought, well, I'll just make a joke here. And he says, looked at him and says, oh, yeah, I'll take a cheeseburger, fries, and a large malt. And Big Earl just started laughing. And he looked at him and goes, Rich, he says, I thought I'd heard them all. But he says, that's a new one on me. He said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a warning this time because you made me laugh on my day-to-day. And he said, but I'll tell you what, if I catch you again doing this, you'll get more than your cheeseburger, fries, and large chocolate. So,
that's a good story.
Rich got off lucky, but you know, he had his 57 running pretty good, but not fast enough to outrun the state trooper.
No, those old state trooper cars can still run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Good story, Lyle.
Sure.
Hey, appreciate you listening and being a faithful listener too. I appreciate that very much. Matt, were you going to add something to that?
Yeah, anytime that you can make a police officer laugh, you're just better off. If you can make I know from personal experience, because I had an exhibition of speed ticket. And the only reason that I got this dropped off, though, because I got it bad. I was 17 years old,
Right.
and I was driving one of the old Chevy Cheyennes with a 454 in it down off of. And you're talking about Morrison. I got pulled over by a Colorado State patrolman, and I got the cop to laugh, and it got me off a little bit. Let alone my dad was going to kill me. I was 17 years old.
Right.
So if you can get a cop to laugh and get to that side of him, you're better off.
I think for us men, that's pretty true. I never have had anybody call in and answer my question, do ladies get less speeding tickets than men? I haven't got that answer yet. Matt's saying yes.
I've been looking around on Google, and the more and I can't get any numbers.
Right.
But everywhere I go, it shows that women get less than men. And I know this personally because I've seen my wife go through it. I've been sitting in the...
Me too.
Sitting right next to her. I'm like, and I'm looking, and he's like, well, I'm just going to give you a warning. I'm looking. I'm
Yeah,
like,
me too.
what?
Yeah, I've been in the same position. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've been there.
It's like, if it was me, we're going to give you this, and this, and you got to be here
That's
at
right.
this period of time.
That's right. That's hilarious. Hey, line's open. Call us. We'll get you loaded up before the end of the show. 303-477-5600. Speeding tickets, car questions, you name it. We'll take your answers or take your calls, give you some answers. Whatever it is, we don't care. 303-477-5600. I did want to cover emissions testing. And Kurt and I talked in the very beginning of the first hour a little bit about this. So for some of you that listen on Sundays that only catch the second 2 hours of the show, there are two different programs in the state of Colorado.
Right.
One for diesels, one for gas. All of the gasoline emissions testing is done through Air Care Colorado. And you see those at the stations. You see their roadside testing. And I'm not going to get into all the details of that. What I wanted to talk a little bit about today, Kurt, was... when you go to Air Care Colorado, for example, and you fail, you can either go on the website, or do they give you now, Larry, maybe, I don't know if you know this, do they give you a handout of who a shop near you is that can actually help you with the emissions repair, or is that all online? It's all online. Okay, so you go online, you figure out who a recommended shop from Air Care Colorado is that can actually fix your car. And what they do is they grade those shops on how many successful emissions repairs they've had.
Right.
So in other words, there's a failure. You go take it to X shop, they take it back over, they get it to pass. If it passes, that's 100, and the next one is 100, and the next one is 100, and then all of a sudden one comes through and it doesn't pass. Well, now they just, their score dropped to
it knocks you down
95 or whatever that would be. What you have to be careful of when you look at that list. And by the way, I'm not bashing any shops that are on the list. Some of our Carl Select facilities will be on there, but what I am going to say is just be careful of the list. Just because somebody has a 100% success rate doesn't necessarily mean they have a 100% success rate. And you're going to say, well, John, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. They're either 100% or they're not. Well, those scores can be manipulated. Mm-hmm. Here's what I mean by that. Case in point. I had a friend call me Thursday. And he had a vehicle that went up to Fort Collins. It didn't go to the facility that we have up there that we, advertise for, Fort Collins 4x4. It went to another facility. Won't mention names because it's not a part of our group. Wouldn't pass emissions. Takes it in there. Goes through a big, long song and dance about why it wouldn't pass. They did a few things to it, basically feel like now it would pass. And his question to me was, why didn't they just take it back out to the emissions center and get the test done for me? I would have even paid the $25 a second time just so I didn't have to mess with it myself. Why didn't they just do that? Well, here's why. It's so close on passing because he gave me the readings of what it's doing now or what they thought it would do. And here's the deal. This is what really frustrated him. They know what the readings were because they took it up for a test of a test. In other words, they didn't actually run it through a formal test, but they ran it on the dyno to see if it would in fact pass, which you can do as a repair center. And he was upset because they took all the time to do that and charged him for it, but they didn't actually take it in for a test. The reason they didn't, in my view, is if they had and they'd signed their name to it and it hadn't passed, it now puts a nick against them. So what I'm getting at is some of these shops that are out there that say they have 100%, if they feel like there's a car that they've repaired, but the customer, for example, didn't want to spend enough money or didn't want to do this or didn't want to do that, and they don't think it's going to pass, they won't go do the test under their name. They just avoid it altogether. They'll hand you the paperwork back and say, we don't have time, or we weren't able to get out there, or the lines were too full, or whatever excuse you can think of they'll come up with because they don't want that nick on their record of not being able to get that car fixed the next time through. Does that all make sense? Everybody listening? Kurt, does that make sense?
Yeah, and in that case, we were talking about that. The numbers were really close, and I think they knew the numbers were really close, so it could kind of go either way.
That's right.
When we do emission repair, we'll either take it and make sure it passes, and that's what I like to do regardless. And if I don't, I'm going to make darn sure that what's coming out of the tailpipe has a really, really good chance of passing.
That's right.
So
that's right. Well, and the main point I had with that is just be careful of what Air Care Colorado is putting out in the way of advertisements for another shop saying that they've got 100% rating. They may still be a very, very good, solid shop. I'm not taking anything away from them, but any number out there can be manipulated. That's my point. If you know how to work the system, you can manipulate anything. Lines open. Call us. We'll talk more about this and other topics. We really want to answer your questions. We got about 15 minutes left of showtime is all. Less than that, actually, by the time we get through this break. Call us. We'll get your questions answered. Tell us your favorite speeding ticket story or ask us a car question. Whatever it happens to be, we'll get you the answer. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Kurt Anderson, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Pine Carpet 1. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity.
Their ears are burning.
Select Auto Care Center near you. Log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Oh, yeah, they have questions.
Handle like a banana boat being towed.
And they're not only listening to what they're listening to the show. They're listening to everybody else's questions because they chime in on everybody else's stuff.
Conquer the job with Napa Know-How.
And that's what makes the show good, when you're not only chiming in on your question, you're chiming in on everybody else's.
Parts stores. Offer expires 10/31/14.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment, or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. At coloradoselect.org, I search my city and boom, I'm done. Colorado Select Auto Care puts their member shops through a rigorous set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. coloradoselect.org.
All right, last segment, Drive Radio, and if you're listening on Sunday, thank you. We appreciate it. I apologize that we're not here in studio to answer your calls. We just can't be. We're not here. Don't have anybody to staff it. The station's not really even here on Sundays, except for late in the day for Matt, who comes in and does a show. But outside of that, we appreciate you calling in today. 303-477-5600 is our number. Call us. We'll get you right on here. We've got about 7 minutes of the show left. We'll get Michael in Cheyenne, who is next. Michael, what's going on?
Hi there. How you guys doing?
We're doing
today?
great. Thanks for calling.
I call all the time, and I don't get anything done on Saturdays because I listen to you guys.
Well, that's all right. We appreciate that.
Question I got is, I bought a 95 Toyota truck just to be my daily driver. It's got the V6 engine in it. And somebody told me they're famous for blowing head gaskets. Have you heard anything on that?
They had some head gasket issues back in the day, especially on the 3-liter V6s. In fact, Toyota had a recall per se on those, or a bulletin where if you had problems, they'd reimburse you or they'd pay for the repair, etc. By now, if that hasn't been done, I don't know that I'd spend any time worrying about it or lose any sleep over it, because that was a big deal back in the 90s, but most of them have been fixed by now, and if not, they didn't need fixed, so I really wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not something I would worry about having to budget or put head gaskets on it or anything like that. If it's running well, driving well, not using coolant, it's not using oil, I wouldn't worry about it at all, Michael.
All righty, thanks, guys.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, and I can't remember what years those were, Kurt. 93 to somebody's going to correct me on this, but 93 to 94. 4, 5, 6-ish somewhere. I don't know. It was 3 or 4 year time frame.
Kind of seems like it.
Yeah, and I have to go look it up to know exactly what the situation is. But hey, let's talk to Joe. He's up next. Joe, welcome to Drive Radio. What's going on today?
How you doing?
Good.
First of all, thanks for Rush to Judgment.
Rush to Reason?
Rush to Reason, excuse me.
That's all right. We do that too, so appreciate it.
That's very good. You talked about waxing a car earlier.
Yes.
You said quarterly would be...
Quarterly is ideal if you can take the time to do it.
I'll tell you, I hate to say it, but I'm the type of guy who doesn't even want to wash his car, to be quite frank. That's why I have a garage.
Yep.
I wash my daily runners, leave it out in the rain, and if it gets really bad, I'll wipe it down. But anyway, there is another advantage to keeping a good coat of wax on a car. And I learned this, well, I don't know if I really learned this, but I heard about this years ago in the 60s. What it does do, when it's cleaner, it also cuts down on friction.
Mm-hmm. You're
now,
right. It
it's
does.
probably not really noticeable in miles per gallon that much, but it's anything that can make it run more efficiently is better.
Yeah.
Now, the way I learned this was in the 60s, the days of Richard Petty, stock car racing. There was this one driver, when he went out for time, I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but it was like maybe 63, 64. When he went out for time trials in a stock car, he put Johnson baby powder on his car. He swore to God it got him 0.2 or 0.3 of a second.
Interesting.
Isn't that amazing?
And there's probably something to that. And you know, there's just the bottom line is there's a lot of good byproducts to waxing it. You know, the newer paints, you don't have to. And I said that earlier. You know, you can get by not doing it, but it definitely does help and make the vehicle last longer if you do.
Oh yeah, and it will help in the long run.
It sure does.
You guys have a good weekend.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate the phone call. You do the same. We appreciate it. Dell is up next. Dell, welcome.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Doing great, Dell.
Yeah, my speeding ticket was when I was 16. My mom had a 59 Ford convertible with a 390 police interceptor. And one Saturday morning, I had not a state, but a Jeffco sheriff clocked me at 105 when I crossed 72nd and Sims going home.
Wow.
Took him like 4 miles to get close enough where I could see him. He was not a happy camper.
I'll bet. I'll bet. So I assume you got a ticket.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a ticket. I think it cost me like $65 or something at the time.
Yeah, not today. It's a lot more than that now.
No, it wouldn't be a speeding ticket today. It'd be a reckless repair.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they've, let's just say that, well, we read earlier today, the average ticket's $150 now, the average speeding ticket.
Yeah.
Which is $150, and I think I mentioned all those stats that Scott Watley gave me earlier, and yeah, $150 multiplied out ends up being billions of dollars of revenue across the country. So yeah, you have to ask yourself, are they tickets or a tax?
Yeah, I think they're more on the latter.
Side note. Hey, Dell, appreciate you calling in.
Have a good one.
You do. Have a great weekend. All right, I had one email question we'll finish the show up with. We got a couple of minutes left here. And actually, I had two email questions. The last one is too long. The first one was about brake fluid. And this question here, Kurt, I'll just read it. I'm thinking I need brake fluid since a red brake light keeps showing on my dashboard. I went to Walmart and first purchased the Valvoline 3-4 DOT brand. It says synthetic. I also looked at the Walmart Tech brand, but it did not say synthetic. My Honda's a 19.9 Accord. Can I use synthetic? You should not mix brake fluid, right, Kurt?
Well, depends on the type. If DOT 3 and 4 is interchangeable.
Okay.
There's DOT 5, which is silicone.
Which is not, right?
Right. Base brake fluid, which is not.
Yeah, and that's what I was meaning. Sorry, I probably didn't say that correctly enough. If you want to interchange, I don't know if they want to call synthetic versus non-synthetic. If you want to interchange that, that's fine. But yes, the silicon-based brake fluid, you do not want to mix in with the other brake fluid. That's a no-no. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, so DOT 3 and DOT 4, DOT 4 is a higher
temp and so on.
Yeah, higher temperature, say a more tougher brake fluid. More extreme usage.
So, Susan, if you're listening, yes, you could use the synthetic brand in it, but don't use the DOT 5. As long as it says DOT 3-4, you'd be okay with that in your Honda, but do not use a DOT 5, which is a full silicon. And if it says silicon on it, don't use that. A lot of the hot rod guys in certain cars require silicon, and it's got its place. But no, in your Honda, you want to use what you've got and not mix fluids.
Now, the other thing on that, the reason that you're getting a low, if it is indeed a low brake fluid light, there's a reason for that. As brake pads wear, as the pistons go in the calipers, the brake fluid fills that up so it's displaced. You may very well need brake pads.
Good point.
Or getting close to that.
Good point. In other words, the pedal travel is so much that it's basically turning the light on. Is that what you're saying? Because of the volume that's going through it, because the brake pads, because the calipers are moving so much?
Well, not not that.
Or does that Honda actually have a brake sensor, a brake pad sensor in it?
I don't know. Don't know. Could be that. But if you need brake fluid, when you start with new brakes, the pistons in the calipers are all the way in because of the pad thickness.
Got it. I see what you're saying. And as it's gotten low, it means it's used that fluid up, so you're adding fluid, so the brakes probably could very well need replaced.
Right. Yeah, so there's a reason.
I follow you now. Sorry. Yes, that's exactly right. So yeah, to Kurt's point, Susan, if you're listening, if you're having to add fluid, have the brakes checked, because that means that they're probably worn enough that the fluid has gone down in the cylinder, because you're now taking what was in the master cylinder, moved it to the caliper.
Correct.
Thereby it needs more reservoir, more fluid in the reservoir itself, because it's moved positions.
Yeah, so
got it.
Usually there's a reason. Check to be sure.
All right.
A leak or something.
All right, guys, with that, Kurt, man, thanks for coming down.
You're welcome.
I've enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it.
We had a lot of fun today. Great show today. Kurt Anderson. Anderson's out at Colfax and I-70, west of I-70 on Colfax. Matt, our engineer, Larry Unger from Larry's Automotive over in the Westminster area. Thank you guys so much. Great show today. And by the way, everybody out there listening, thank you. Be safe. Appreciate y'all listening. Love you guys. God bless you. Enjoy the Bronco game tomorrow. CU game tonight. Whatever it is you're doing this weekend, be safe, have fun, and enjoy. And I'll see you Monday on Rush to Reason at 2 p.m. John Rush, your host, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.